When you're here before, couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so fucking special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't care if it hurts. I wanna have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you to notice when I'm not around. You're so fucking special. I wish I was special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. Oh, oh, she's running out the door. She's running. She run, 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 run. Run! Whatever makes you happy, whatever you want. You're so fucking special. I wish I was special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here. Oh shit, am I live? Hi guys, what's up? Welcome to... welcome. Hello everybody. So, what's up guys? What's up? What's up J7? What's up? Hey guys, what's... Oh, that's too much. Fuck. The crowd can suck all of you. So, hey. On topic though, is there anything else on Doodle Tones right now? I still gotta go through the rest of the video. To be honest, yeah, to be honest, there's actually some Lumi Starva and stuff that's also developing right now, which, that seems quite interesting. I think she's alleging that she got raped again, from, like, my understanding, but then there's people that are, like, trying to compile a document against her to say that she's lying. All that I know is that she deactivated recently, which is, very, very interesting. So, Yeah. I'll definitely look into that when I can. But right now, we're gonna be locked in. Okay. Doodletones is a Jew, by the way. Just wanted to say this, dude. Fuck, dude. That means I can't cover them. Fuck. So, yeah, no, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna be more than interested to look at into the Lumi stuff. Our live bro cook again. Oh, what's up, everybody? Dude, this is evil. Lumi the Starbun? Yeah, Lumi Starbun can be bees, alright? We can be bees. Dude, we need more bees and we need more emos, okay? We need to start emo-fying, like, emo beaming, like, other people that are, like, enemies, too, I think an emo excellent would be funny. And then we also gotta, like, beify everyone, bro. we gotta fucking turn everyone to bees. Okay? We gotta, like, turn, who else hasn't been a bee yet? Quite a handful of people, I think, right? I don't think Hippleton's been turned to a bee. I think that guy needs to be beed right now. No, we can't be bees. What the fuck? Also, what's up, nah? He's on it. I've been a bee. We need less of Ace, more of anything else. Okay, buddy. Okay. Look, bro. Look, you love it. Okay, you love these streams. Let me finish Gilded. Damn! It's literally my name. I'm a bee. Yeah? No bees. Dude, we need a hive. We need to start a bee hive again. I haven't been turned emo. Well, you can turn yourself emo. I think that'd be funny. No, you're not safe from yourself. You're your biggest threat. But, yikes. Yeah, so, yeah. Angelic bars aside, let's get back into someone that should be behind bars.
No,
so, it's fucking George Raccoon, right? Yeah, so if you guys remember from the first call, Doodletones was simply just like what was it? What confronted about the fucking Nekopon stuff, or was it Nekopon? No, Nekokoda. Sorry, too many Nekos in this community. Nekopon's a pedophile. No, but Nekokoda. That was who they were confronted about, and they could like criticize them when they were a minor, which I guess would be a clear sign of hypocrisy, considering Doodletone says you can't criticize me. I was a minor. So yeah. Anyways, interesting stuff. But I would also say, like, we started to find out in the second call, because I don't think we got fully through it, but in the second call, they defended George Raccoon. They have victims of George Raccoon in the call, and they were made to apologize for George's actions since they didn't, quote unquote, set a boundary as a minor, which is fucking ridiculous. But yeah, anyways, I got a sweep. Fucking yeah. ACC and SCC sex offender shuffle win. Dude, and I will get on it. Alright, we will get on it. But I hope you guys are all caught up. We're gonna get back into the calls. Here we go.
I remember correctly, Susie said it herself. George was gone for 2 years between when Vivian came out with Leo's doc and when Susie made the video. Susie was still in contact with George in the meantime, though.
Oh yeah, no, Susie never dropped contact with George.
Yikes. Everyone crashing out.
Susie was in Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah?
Oh my fucking... I swear, each day passes by, those calls age worse. The fuck?
I'm dumbfounded.
Also,
This is what I stopped talking about these accusations for? This?
Yikes.
I am so fucking sorry, Sap. I am like
No,
Like, how many times am I gonna have to be put down about my accusations? Fucking between this and Rachel's group coming after me for coming out about her?
Yeah, I'm not shocked.
Gee, it's no fucking wonder people don't want to come out, you guys. It's no fucking wonder it takes this long. Worst part is, even after, when Horace came back, I was basically made, enemy number 1
yeah, there was
alongside
a whole thread
Vivian.
I remember that Horace made at the time. That was, I believe, in tandem with the document. I don't remember what was said, but I remember it existing. And the moment that thread was made, I was blocked. I remember being blocked.
I was made enemy number 1 when that happened. When Horace came back, I had people calling me horrible things, including people taking my, I was poor, and I had people on Twitter calling me an e-beggar. For what? Because I came out about what happened to me and I helped my fucking friend do the same.
You see, I think this person's having like a justified anger, right? I see Lyle's gloves are still fighting for their life. Lol. But no, I see this person's definitely like having I think his name is Safi. They're having definitely like a justified anger right here, for sure, right? But what is like crazy to me, right? Is it makes sense because there's a lot of spineless people in the SCC and ACC, but a lot of people really just took Doodletones' word as like as gospel, and just kind of moved on with it. Didn't bother to look further into it. Didn't actually read the screenshots in the video. That if you even took the second like I did when I was going over it, you could see that Doodletones was being disingenuous. There was a moment where George Raccoon was actively seeking minors to add them onto their NSFW account, and Doodletones framed it as they just happen to have some minors on their account. Taking away the whole predatory context. It's genuinely insane. There's a second half of the call where Ponder defends Doodles for deleting their account. That happens? Why? Fucking hell, what? At this point, right? Just dead. Dead. There's just no need to defend someone deleting their YouTube account, bro. You can't. Okay, I would be so real. You can't just accidentally delete your account. That is absolutely fucking insane. You can't just accidentally do something like that. Can you imagine someone doing something that takes multiple buttons to press and then saying that they just accidentally did it? That'd be fucking crazy, right, guys? No, but anything, right? It's gay. It's gay. If that's what they're saying, that's crazy. That was a question, A-Space. I'm not even knowledgeable about that happening. If that happens, right, then that's gay. But yeah, if it doesn't happen here and happens elsewhere, I still think it's gay. But fucking hell. Honestly, I never got into Doodletones videos. I've seen one because of Ponder, but could never get into it because the voice is annoying. Yeah, I mean, the voice filters aren't for everyone. I mean, hell, I'm gonna be so real. The only people watching Doodletones was their small group of fans and their detractors. That's usually how it goes. But they did have a poll in the community. I will give them that. They did have a poll, which I guess kind of made it. God, a lot of SCC people did. You see, this is why it's mind-numbing to me, right? I'm going, I went into, I came from, general community. You guys probably know that, right? I'm more used to, general community of how we do our standards. In fact, I got a little bit of shit for, just try to, apply those standards here a couple times. Now, I wrestle the feathers. I don't really fucking care. But there was a few concepts that, was just fucking alienated from this community. So the foreign, even, if you will, right? And it's just because someone makes a video, right? I mean, if you're planning to cover the topic yourself, look into it. Don't just go off of one person's video. That's fucking crazy. Because what I'm guessing is a lot of people saw Doodletones' video defending it, and a lot of people co-signed it by also making their own videos to that just mimicked Doodletones' point just to spread it even farther. But it's it's crazy to me. Genuinely is. Because it's you know how much skepticism is under general community. If you have a video up that is not just defending but calling someone or defending someone as a predator, they're gonna look at everything in the case. They're gonna come to their own conclusion, because if you're a target, trust me, they will definitely make a target out of you. That's just how it works. And nobody decided to do that. The community is very different. It's general community, they're more critical with their research, I would say, most of the time, right? But then this community is kind of like a hug box, and they just pick a couple people to actually do the work, and then they just are echoes. They just mimic what they say, and it's just fucking ridiculous. It's evil, Ace. What's up, Blue? A lot of people in the RCC are cartoonishly gullible. Yeah, no, unironically, yeah. Because genuinely, right? I can't even say, to be fair to a lot of these people that watch the video, because when I watched the George Raccoon video, the person is literally George Raccoon literally admits to what they did. And Doodletones, and I quote, says, "I'm not satisfied with that response," and then goes on to sweep. They had George actually admit in their own DMs that they did it, and that there is no reason to defend them because what they did was egregious. And Doodletone said, "Nah, fuck it, I'm gonna do my own thing," and then ended up making the 30-minute video defending them in the worst humanly way possible, by the way. And then they kept saying the minors should have set the boundaries over and over and over again, and even made crazy sweeps, saying, I don't know, like George Raccoon wearing a dress, in the context of, masturbating. Oh, that's not sexual context. No, they're just cross-dressing. Nothing weird about that. It's weird that they only do it like in sexual scenarios, but no. That's just casual cross-dressing. You're the weirdo for like even like seeing any like sexual context to that. It's actually fucking insane. Also, what's up, Crash Out Clancy? But like, dude, it's actually ridiculous. Genuinely. Like how much this person has gotten away with in this community. They lied about even like the most simple things. And it's like, it's amazing to see it all go down. Doodles got grace because Doodle's A-logs were edgelord, right-leaning, shock jock types like Medicare. And even Jar, the only time Jar ever got in trouble with the SEC prior to the Toby drama was bringing up Doodle's diaper fetish. Yikes. Didn't Akuma show a screenshot of Ponder having left a comment on the George video? I could be misremembering. If they did, I would have to see it. I haven't seen that myself. That's interesting. But from what I understand and gather, even if Doodle, I guess it depends what Ponder says, right? But from like what it was like previous explained on like a different stream, there is evidence to suggest that Doodletones did go to Ponder Sprocket, but like from Ponder's side, from what I'm gathering, is that they were very busy with their real life and didn't actually look at it at all. Which, I mean, you're not obligated to check another person's video. That's not your responsibility. But they didn't co-sign it or anything from their own words. They just never looked into it, which I've seen, situations like that. So, I mean, if Ponder, like, I don't know what the DMs are that would Ponder would respond with, because if Ponder ever once said, good video, like, even if they didn't look at it, if they just randomly said good video, then that's gay. But I'm not sure if they did that. But yeah. Also, can't get over people missing it because the George video was in its entirety just, yeah, he did XYZ. But, yeah, no, exactly. It's crazy. Let's see, to an extent, I understand people not getting it, like, not getting the attention of it, because even things like, the most annoying thing, right, I will say, like, that gets brought up in Lio, it's like the Rosa call. That took 6 months to actually be picked up and, like, have traction going. So it's like, it was out for 6 months, but it had to take till Omnia to, like, make a video on it to actually raise an issue against it. Because realistically, no one's watching a 4-hour call on their own time. That's just a random Senate call or whatever. That's just randomly how it would go. Like, so it takes like people actually looking into, like, you have to like genuinely be looking for something to find something, which I know that sounds redundant, but like sometimes people come across something, just don't think twice and just, leave it be. So that's probably like what most of the people saw it as, just mindlessly watching it for background noise. But yeah, I'll never get the normalization of kinks. It's a kink. It will always be sexual. Jen, why is anyone trying to act like it isn't? Yeah, no, what actually like surprised me is like last stream that we did with Doodletones, they talked about like how they think kinks don't have to be sexual in nature. And I'm like, what the fuck are you even on about? How can a kink not be sexual in nature? But yeah, it's just fucking insane. But let us watch more.
Same? Y'all have had this happened almost 10 years ago with what happened to me in particular. I've never once gotten an apology, whether it be from Horace himself or from anyone else who was involved later on in the years.
Because no one wants to take responsibility. Not even the adults.
It's crazy the effect that this video had, actually. Because speaking from experience, I remember I was actually being groomed both while I was in the community and when I watched that video.
This guy sounds familiar. Is this Sparrow? I can't remember.
The only thing I could ever remember from it was about how, because Leo supposedly didn't set a boundary, that made it not grooming, right? So it made it to a point where every single time somebody would talk in a way that was inappropriate to me, I didn't set a boundary with them, or even if I did set a boundary and I just didn't enforce it well, I would blame myself for it. I would assume that was like, it was just a me problem. And it took me a total of, I think I was like 14. It took me a total of 3 or 4 years to actually unlearn that.
Wait.
to
what-
actually to actually understand.
If you're a little lost here, I'm not gonna lie. With some SCC stuff, I'm still looking into it from scratch. ACC, I have a really good knowledge on a handful of people in this community, even some of the small ones. SCC is like a whole new terrain. Only people I've been keeping up to date with is people like June, Heaton, and like Doodletones from that community. And I guess Snarkfield, but that guy's gone now. But anyways, like I don't really like keep too into tact. The most I dived into SCC so far, besides Suvlivy, is like Cloak and Dagger. Definitely Cloak and Dagger would be deeper than when I look into Suvlivy, but they're still new people to me, so trying to do what I can. So I don't know really the context of this. If someone wants to explain it, I don't mind reading it, but I don't know exactly all of Sparrow's lore. I do know that there was a situation where they were making Carmen Rider videos, I think when they were like, what, like 15 or something? Or like a minor? I can't remember what age. And like people were encouraging them to keep engaging with like Carmen Rider, which I mean there is a little bit of an issue with that because Carmen Rider is like a weird like sexual degen, and I wouldn't want like that type of content around minors either. So it's like I wouldn't encourage someone to cover that either. But yeah, Snark left. I thought the dude made a video like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they made one 2 days ago that said that they were quitting commentary. So you're welcome.
That what was going on was grooming. It's so great knowing that.
I need
So
to
great.
ask you. I need to ask you. Was that point, or was that mentality in your head when you were talking to Christian?
Yes, it was in my head. It
Oh.
was like because I felt uncomfortable, but I didn't feel like I could set a boundary, so I just assumed it was my fault. That what was going on? I just assumed it was partially my fault.
So that's two people that video's mentalities got groomed.
Yeah, it was not just Vivian. It was Vivian, it was Rachel, and now it's Forrest that I've come to relearn.
Ace actually killed 2 channels, props to you. I actually killed a few channels. It's actually rough. A lot of them are small spurgs that nobody cares about, to be sure. But like, it's actually kind of ridiculous. So I don't try to though. Like genuinely, all it takes for some of these small people like that. Like when I say small, I'm talking about like maybe only a couple hundred subs, right? Maybe even less than that sometimes. Sometimes like, well, some of them actually. I think one of them was actually 1K from what I remember. But still, when I like, some. I just make fun of them for like things that are like really insane that they've done, and they can't handle it. So sometimes they just leave. It's actually kind of funny, but yeah, no, it's interesting to see. But yeah, also speaking on this, it's kind of crazy to me because, I mean, I get why it's recorded, right? But this part's a little uncomfortable to me because it's like, this is genuinely like their realization of being victims, like in live time. So it's like, yeah, this is definitely getting a little too personal. But I mean, it is what it is. But fuck, I don't know. I guess it's full transparent truth. I guess fuck. But, it's definitely a little uncomfy. But yeah, I'll still get through it.
Same. Exact same.
This is like, oh my god. This is like if Cinny Bear just got to come back.
Because, like, Vivian and Rachel also absolutely had a grudge against Horace. Absolutely. And
Hold up. Art break. Insane stuff happening. Insane. Which video is worse? His commentary at Mr. Medicare or his video on George? Medicare or Doodletones just lied about like being a victim. I would say George is worse because they actually made the real victims like apologize for being victims essentially, and made the whole community dislike them. Also, look at this insane art, dude. It's Gilded Bee, dude. Gilded needs to be back off, bro. Like, look at this. What the fuck? It's Bumblebee, dude. Gilded's the type of guy to sting once and croak. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean, right? He's a one sting chump. You know what I mean? You see, me, I'm a multi-sting guy. I'm a multi-sting Chad. He's kind of a one sting chump. You feel me? Yeah. Anyways, Back to the build video.
Through the nefarious
That's something
means.
that's undeniable.
No, yeah, because I remember both Vivian especially had a grudge against Horace, because Horace came from a relatively wealthy family and had a lot of problems that Vivian hated to her gut about. That I remember, and so that definitely was part of it. But I can't deny what Horace did to me, to Saf, and to Leo.
After this call, Julie and I had a private one with Susie. We
Okay,
surmised
so-
that since Susie has a massive archive of things from
So that actually officially gets us through her call too. Okay, fuck me, man. There are so many calls. Oh, I just rewatched this video today while I was doing art. Well, you're about to watch it again if you stick around, haha. But fucking hell, dude, this is evil. But so far, what we gathered: Neko Coda hypocrisies, and they swept for a literal child groomer. So interesting.
the community, it stood to reason that we'd need that before she left. Because, frankly, we didn't want to talk to her afterwards. After initial pushback in that call, she agreed to hand me her channel and therefore the data we...
Hold on. I've been trying to look in how to transfer a YouTube channel to another Google account. So this will take about 7 days after I get everything set up. Would that be okay? Yes. Thank you. Scary PFP.
we'd need. Pushing forward that week, I pulled people in the Cloud Palace after demanding that Susie give me ownership of it and leave. What's been found in there isn't pretty. While a full scouring is still underway, even the surface looks are pretty ugly. We haven't found anything predatory so far, but we've found awful behavior. Behavior that was perpetuated and encouraged by Susie and everyone in that server. In one such instance, we found that a member by the name of Space Groomer 5 had made it a point to discard some grooming victims' testimonies simply because the victim was friends with someone he didn't like. I'm including...
What the fuck? Can you imagine if we actually went by that logic? Yeah, that person who's claiming to be raped, I don't like their friends. Can we really say it happened? Like, where does the logic even connect? How does that even make sense? Fuck me. Dead.
Including this confrontation call with him because it highlights some of the behavior that happened in that server.
Hello, Guru.
Why has Lai always had odd PFPs? Bro, do you know how weird it felt to watch a Calamara video talking about Jar's, like, VidCon stories? And then, you know, they went to Lio and, like, it's like his second account, right? So he just throws whatever the fuck PFP on there. It's Squidward with 2 guns and the PFP, and they're just, like, talking about it, like, really serious, like, about Jar just, like, you know, being really schizo at, like, these VidCon stories. And then you get, like, Lio with, like, you know, Squidward 2 guns be like, yeah, it's crazy. It's like, what the fuck? Also, what's up? What's up, Mira? But dude, it's evil. It's evil.
Do you know why you're here today?
I just know it was something I said in Cloud Palace.
But you don't know who about or what about.
Oh, they confronted this guy.
Details.
Okay. Have you heard what's gone on with Horace these past couple days?
I'm really curious of how this is gonna go down.
I've only just found out, like, a few minutes, like, not even, like, as soon as I joined, like, this server, I've only just now been finding out.
Yeah. So, basically, Susie and a good part of the community.
Okay, so wait. Okay, hold up. So this person, or unless you guys have evidence to counter it, right? But this person knew nothing about the George Raccoon thing. So what I'm gonna gather, right, is okay. I know obviously it looks bad now, right? But if they genuinely just like believe Doodle Tones and didn't really look into it themselves, right? They're not intentionally discrediting victims. They don't look at a victim and say, you're not a victim because I don't like you. But they thought like George was innocent. So they thought these people were like false accusers. And yes, people would make fun of false accusers. That does happen. But okay. Yeah, really this is just like a take that just didn't age well. I'm kind of curious how they're going to go about this. Oh, what's up, Glass Raven? And censoring comments on his Medicare video still pisses me off to this day. He knew all about the George Raccoon thing. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, then this guy deserves to be, like, raped over the coals then. We'll see.
I found out a couple days ago. Covered for very unabashed predatory behavior.
What's up, Astro?
And instead decided to put blame onto the victims of that behavior.
What's up,
A
Kalu?
lot of whom, just for being part of Rachel's group when this happened.
My thought is that if you were in the Cloud Palace, you probably knew. You know how evil that is, though? That means, like, a whole a server came together to, like, defend this one child groomer just because they were nice to them. You know how fucking, like, evil that is? Like, unironic, that is so cartoonishly and comically evil to do something like that. That is genuinely insane. Like, if that was the case. It's like, yeah, we all know about George. Yeah. So what? Yeah, they have, like, a plethora of victims, but who cares? He's cool. He plays Fortnite. He's a pretty chill guy. Like, that is actually fucking, like, mental behavior. I hope they're still not letting Linlin skim through Cloud Palace after their horrendous Doodles video. Apparently, Linlin really only wanted their involvement just to be in that area, just so they could make that one horrible Doodle Tones video and then dip. Like, they're not even involved with Doodle Tone stuff anymore, which, for the best, whatever. Yeah, I don't care. Genuinely, their video was god-awful. I was thinking about going over it live, but I don't know. Chris already went over it. Gildan already talked about it. It's whatever. I wouldn't really have anything new to say. It's literally like 2 points where it's like Linlin said something retarded online. It got corrected by Doodle Tones. It got a slap on the wrist, and they're talking about how it's like just a horrible experience. Which maybe like one of the only good points that they bring up is Doodle Tones wishes for Linlin to have a Mr. Medicare moment while constantly saying that it's like the worst thing they've gone through in their life. Which, yeah, that's, I guess, a point for Doodle Tones, but that's crazy that you have this long of a video, and the only decent thing you can muster is, like, one singular screenshot. The other thing is just them, like, slapping you on the wrist when you're a retarded child. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, if you're muddying waters that's affecting someone's life, right, that is genuinely, like, slandering someone, yeah, that needs to be corrected because you're muddying waters. It's so stupid. That video was so gay that I can't even. A good chunk of the Cloud Palace new to some extent to varying degrees. That's just mental. That is genuinely mental. It's not worth it. Just another vid with the worst voice changer ever. Never trust the avatars with gas mask out. When Link comes back and makes bad take after bad take. No, genuinely, even like what like Guild even said, like fucking Linlin only covers a person when it's safe to cover them. Notice how when they made their jar video, it was after they tap into like I guess defend a child groomer. But like their video wasn't even about that. The video wasn't really even about that. Okay? It was about the fucking Spoctor thumbnail thing or like their video thing, which is stupid. That was 2023. Grow up. Leave it, like leave aside. Like, why do you have to wait for these people to be ousted for morally egregious things just to talk about your petty beasts with them? That is so immature and stupid. And you want to talk about in the Doodle Tones video, right? How it's like Doodle Tones is moving light away from the serious situations, like with looking at my stuff with Muddy in the Waters. Dude, you are moving the light away from serious situations by, like, focusing it on your fucking petty beef. I don't care what you say. Genuinely, you waited, like, why is it, right? Why is it when Jar gets ousted for, like, defending a child groomer, we have to talk about your pity little fucking back and forth with the Spoctor video? Or, calling Becca a fascist for, like, something extremely crazy. But, like, fuck it, that was stupid. But then, like, with the Doodle Tone shit, it's like, they defended and swept for a child groomer. And we want to talk about them calling you out when you were a stupid 15-year-old and 17-year-old because you just don't know how to make good videos? Like, that is genuinely stupid. That's where we want the spotlight on. You want to play this moral game, right? Where it's like, we should only be focusing on serious situations. But your experiences are, like, the most, like, minuscule, non-noteworthy things to put attention to. You are literally, like, contradicting yourself. It is so stupid. It genuinely pisses me off. I'm kind of glad that they're going to retire soon. Like, holy fuck, man. But yeah, Linlin just doesn't know when to shut up, and it's so annoying to say. Yeah, no, genuinely, sometimes I feel that way, because it's like, I don't really have much personal issues with Linlin, but like with their recent videos, it's just crazy how they would even come to the conclusions and just show such a blatant hypocrisy. It fucking is mind-boggling. Linlin want to be friends with Doodles, by the way? It's not just friends, J7. It's horrible. Doodle Tones was their mentor, okay? Doodle Tones was their coach, which has its own line of questioning if we even want to get into that. But, like, Doodle Tones was basically their optics check, their PR manager. Not even just a buddy. Literally, the person, like, their online parent, if you will. It is genuinely crazy. But fuck me. Also, nice one, Raven. But I got called out as a child for a mistake I made. This is ageist. Yeah, really. Fuck me. Linlin only got grace and clout by defending Peach's poorly aged, lol, and shitting on Kai and Omnia. Someone should call it racist because Kai maxed out his racist card. No! I think both, no, genuinely, it's just, those videos are, like, the least productive things ever. And, like, even with, like, the whole Beckett thing, it just comes off to me that they're more jealous that Mally's like spending more time with Beckett than them because they're just offline. It's like, oh, but I wanted your call with Jar. I really wanted it, but you gave it to this British newbie? Really? Why? But I wanted the call. Why would you give it to that guy? And it just comes off like that. It's like, are we really going to let fascistic behavior like Beckett into this community? He's like one card lobby away from saying the N-word. And it's like, okay, that's so stupid. That is so stupid. And like the whole point that Beckett even made was, like, I mean, are we really going to like focus on like, you know, the racism claims when again he swept and defended for a child groomer? I think that's a bit more of a pressing matter right now, considering it can put more harm to actual like children right now, rather than like, you know, some stupid things he said out of context from a few years ago. It is genuinely insane. I fucking can't, dude. I literally can't. You should totally join Collins. What, you're just gonna call me like a transphobe? Like that's your bit, Raven. That's your bit. You're just gonna call me a homophobe. Dude. Imagine having Doodle Tones as your coach mentor, genuinely. Wait, that impression is pretty good. Not gonna thank you. I actually been doing it on Ant streams whenever he like was when we watched the Lindley video. It was actually awful. Okay, I'll go into college just for this one little thing that you want to do, Raven. You're definitely gonna like just you're totally not gonna call me. Yeah, what's up? What's up, buddy?
Hi.
Hey, buddy. What's up, pal?
So, what's up, pal?
Yeah.
So,
waiting.
I heard some rumors.
Yeah.
Why are people calling you a Nazi?
Because they're reading it wrong.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Yeah.
Are you sure?
See, I knew you were gonna come in here and just do something like that, bro. Fuck you.
So we're watching Lio's video responding to what?
No, he's not
Doodle
responding.
Tones?
I'm watching the like the confrontation with Doodle Tones. Yeah, Diddy
Oh,
Tones,
damn.
and we're just ranting about Lindlin, you know, your bestie. So,
Dude, the only Linlin video I've ever seen was the one that like Gilded was shitting on, and that was hard to watch.
yeah. What?
Yeah.
Gilda's video or the Lindlin video?
The Linlin video. I watched the entire thing first.
Yeah, that's a direction you're going in this community, by the way. Just like
Oh my lord.
That's gonna be just get the voice filter. You and Yen get voice filters, replace Doodle Tones and Lindlin. It'll be back, and the balance will be back and restored. Okay.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Listen.
You people absolutely fucking disgusting.
Okay, buddy. You see, that guy is dead, and you're laughing. Okay, that he quit commentary, and you're laughing.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes, I am.
Anyways.
So what did Doodle Tones even do?
It's way too long. I have some streams going over it if you want the context.
Yeah, no. I'm good.
I mean, you can just see how long the streams are of me going deep into the context of every single event.
What's the issue right now then?
They like kids. I'm sorry.
Damn.
I could say that because they're not around here anymore and they can't get mad. But now, they swept for a child groomer.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Ace is homophobic. He called me the F slur in the Aussie accent. Oh, listen here, you fucking faggot. All right.
Listen, those faggots deserve it.
Yeah. Oh, all right. G'day, bloody legends. I'm gonna say faggot all the time now. Anytime I hear a trans person speak, mate.
Those fucking trannies.
Hey, shut the fuck up, you fucking faggot. Anyways, today we're gonna be looking into Doodle Tones. It's gonna be amazing. Oh, wonderful. Dead. Actually,
wait, Ace exploited artists?
That'd be awesome, but no.
Can I say something real quick? Just
yeah, what's up?
I don't want to talk about the situation as a whole, but there was a document made recently against Yummy and Junie, and one of the images says, "Why are you exploiting your fans for homework answers?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, what are we even on now?
Yeah. Actually, I might have to like solo stream this, Raven. As you know, as fun as it is to hang out, I get derailed already by myself, and I feel like with you, it's just gonna be worse.
No, I'm locked in.
No, you're not. You're a B.
Yes, I am.
You're Buzz. You know,
you're also a B.
No, you're a B, so you should buzz off. They're gonna rage about that in the comments. They're gonna. Anyways, yeah, they're gonna be mad at my live stream chats. They're gonna call me like homophobic. Watch. Anyways. Ace ran. Yeah, they're mad.
When Horace was exposed in 2019. He was exposed for being predatory. He drew children partaking in a kink of his that he said he got sexual gratification from.
This is true.
And Susie, for whatever stupid fucking reason, decided that it would be a good idea to defend that and instead put blame on Leo for not telling him to stop, even though Leo was a 16-year-old and Horace was 23.
Oh my god.
And then after Horace left, Susie spent the next 2 years cozying people up to the idea of Horace being, you know, wrongfully accused and that he wasn't a groomer. And that Leo led him on, basically. Until he was allowed back into the community. Now, I've been given access to the Cloud Palace recently. And
I know this has literally nothing to do with the call. But do you think Lio, like, speeds up, like, his building videos? Or do you think, like, this is just, like, his normal speed? Like, I feel like his hands are moving a little too fast. What do you think?
I'm not happy with what I found you saying about that situation. And I do just want to check, how old are you?
I'm 28 now.
28, okay. So, in 2021, you would have been 24?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because when I looked into the Cloud Palace, I found messages from you the day that Susie's video came out playing apology for Horace's behavior.
Okay.
And I saw basically you pushing all of the blame for what happened onto Amity, known back then as Gwen, who's in this call right now.
Right, yeah.
Who was also one of the other people that Horace had victimized, and that was talked about. That was in the original document. And you pushed all the blame onto her.
Yeah, no, that was wrong. I don't know. I was led into just thinking that.
Okay.
Led? Okay.
I did not know.
I hate this, bro. I hate, like, when people are like, you watched a video and decide not to look into it. Led? You were led to believe this? Yeah, like, just look into it, bro. If you're going to talk about it, comment. Like, my rule of thumb, right? It's like, if I'm going to talk about something publicly with at least, you know, a level of confidence, I'd rather, like, you know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? Where it's, like, to the point where it's, like, I would have wanted to have at least done research and look into, like, all the sides to, like, come to my own conclusion. I feel like that's just a basic rule of thumbs, but it's actually completely foreign to a community like this. But it's like, dude, if you're going to, like, comment on this person or even talk about them publicly, I know there's in Cloud Palace, but it's like, if you're going to talk about this person, have conversations about them, it's like, wouldn't it make more sense to actually know what the hell you're talking about? Like, it's mind-boggling to me. It's genuinely mind-boggling. But yeah, here we go.
I really wish I had a better memory for all these things, because that was disgusting of me to say, and somebody should have fucking stopped me, but even then I should have stopped myself. And I'm genuinely sorry that I said anything like that, especially knowing what we know now. That was disgusting and wrong of me.
That's, I don't know, that's kind of the problem that I have, is that it wasn't just what we know now. It was known back then. The actions were known back then. Susie even shared a document.
Yeah.
From Horace months before she made her video about the situation, where Horace admits that not only he got sexual gratification from that kink, but that he drew kids partaking in it. And that was new. And you were old enough to definitely have done your research into the topic. You say things that show you read the original document by Leo, where he talked about Horace drawing him partaking in the kink, and even shows other images from Amity talking about how he drew her and Autumn when they were children partaking in the kink. So you knew that this was happening, but your only interest was, well, Amity was the one manipulating things. And Amity pushed Leo to call him a groomer, despite knowing that Horace was pushing children, or drawing children partaking in his kink, and sharing kink videos with them.
I was led into thinking that it was.
You were led. Look, there's a word again. I was led into thinking, bro. Are you not your own person, little 24-year-old fella? Are you not your own individual? I was swayed by the crowd. I was manipulated by the masses, dude. Like, okay, dude, just own up to it, bro. Just like, even if right, you didn't do that much research, just say, hey. Look, I only watched one video lazily. That's on me. I'm sorry. I fucked up. But no, I was mind controlled to think this way, like it was a gay up. It's like, dude, fuck off.
That Amity was.
I don't buy it. And I'm
led into thinking by whom?
Thanks, Lyle.
People that were discussing it at the time. I really
Chief, I don't want
remember.
Vig. I am so 100% done with vagary. If you remember this situation well enough to know all the things that transpired, you know enough to name doggone names, and we have the logs. Please do not make this more difficult than it has to be.
Let me see. Shuli, if you may, could you also DM me the logs pertaining to Guru again?
Yeah, I have some smaller screenshots on my phone. I would have to go find the screenshots I took on my computer for the bigger ones. But...
Okay, that's fine.
I'll give you the ones from my phone right now.
Because my question...
While they're doing this interlude, Guru, start thinking.
Yeah, honestly...
May I ask a question?
Yeah, what I'll even say, right? I don't even know who the hell this guy really is other than just a member in the Cloud Palace. But it's like, obviously, you know, they're having spotlight on them, so it's like, you know, we're going to talk about them. But it's like, all I'm concerned, they're probably just a nobody. But it's just, it's insufferable because this is like the general masses of how this community sometimes works. I'm glad that, like, you know, the SEC is starting to pull more and more of the weeds out to try to get, like, more of the bad people out, but I feel like that community's just fallen to shambles at this point. Like, realistically, right, people in SCC are just gonna, like, kind of just merge into ACC anyways, because it's like, SCC is dead. It literally only gets relevant if there's, like, a bad freak in there. Like, I've said this before. Unless, if there has to, like, be a pedophile groomer to be exposed, really, for it to be relevant, or some liar snake. Yeah, this is not Guru's first rodeo, unfortunately, bro. It's over. But genuinely, bro, the SCC is definitely going to fall into shambles. I don't really see it like going anywhere. I mean, all the people that are really in it are just being ousted one at a time, and no one's really like consistently uploading in it. So it's just like I don't really see that community lasting. Like I just feel like the remaining members are just going to go to ACC. That's just how it's going to be. It was already excommunicated from the community previously. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Sure, as long as it's on topic.
Okay, when the video came out when Susie defended George Raccoon, I was, friends with, Autumn at the time, and, I decided to defend the victims in the comments. And after reading my comment, I kind of remember all of it why. It wasn't just because I was defending Autumn that she wasn't malicious in what she did. It was because I was trying to meet a middle. Because I was trying to get these people to realize what actually happened was grooming. I want to ask, why did people spam me with man and dogged on me? I was 20 years old at the time. I was 20. This was 4 years ago.
I had that exact same question. Because the same thing happened to me.
Spoiler alert, Guru, you're the one that alerted everyone to Amity commenting on the video. So, try and remember what you said about that.
Bro.
Because, I was also gaslit. I wasn't a willing participant in being okay with the narrative that he is innocent. I was trying to meet a middle and, like, get these people to realize, like, by acting as if he was wronged, but also saying he wronged the victims, I was still dogpiled. They thought so black and white that they couldn't realize, even when I put the definition, even when I said what was done objectively, Susie's friends dogpiled on me, and I was made fun of. So was Saf. And that sucks. Do you remember anything?
I think this like raid document was being made, and I think we were being taken advantage of to like poison. We were being poisoned against you guys.
Do you care about taking responsibility at all, or are you just gonna put blame onto every other person in the situation?
And I was gonna say, what would Rin have to do with any of that? Rin was not in Ray's circle. I was in Ray's circle at the time.
I would say I was only friends with Autumn. I didn't know anyone else. So you guys assume things.
I am willing to take responsibility.
No, you're not. You're not taking responsibility when your first fucking response to everything is, oh, well, I was led astray. Oh, I was poisoned to this. Say that you did the shit that you did and apologize for it without saying, oh, well, it was actually, you know, I was just led astray. You're a fucking 24-year-old. Your frontal lobe would have been done developing in a year. Get it together.
And I personally don't buy it, because if you were being led astray, why were you the first person in the Cloud Palace to go in there and say, and I quote, Gwen commented on Doodle's video and basically downplayed her involvement.
Good point, good point. How could you be led astray if you're the one starting it? You're the one leading the stray. Fuck off.
No apologies for anything either. And then later on you say, let me grab it, here we go. If everything in that video is to be believed, literally one of their own people, Gwen, put the idea of George being a quote-unquote groomer in Leo's head to begin with. And Gwen went out of her way to silence anyone who wanted to hear George's side. What? Mind you, first of all, it's so funny how this conversation went in two completely different ways. As if you guys weren't blaming me for implanting this idea into Leo's head, you were blaming Vivian. Which, by the way, reminder, I was a victim of Vivian as well. So did y'all just not take this into account, or did you just want to blame me because I was part of Rachel's circle? I was a victim of Horace. I told Leo up front, more than once, hey, George should not be doing this. You really should communicate with him to stop. And in fact, in 2017, I told George to stop because he was doing this with Leo in 2017. Leo would have been 14. And yet, I was open about how George had done this to me and Autumn. And yet, you guys threw my story completely to the side. And instead of reaching out to me or reaching out to Leo, you put the blame on me, and then put this idea that Leo was not being groomed by George after all. No, he was only strictly being groomed by Vivian. You guys made that decision for a victim without having any communication with a victim. What the fuck is that about? And I don't want to hear, oh, it was Susie.
It was because you're part of Race Circle.
Okay, so it was because I was part of Race Circle. Okay.
So because they were associated with someone bad, that just invalidates anything that happens to them? Like, that's... What the fuck, dude? This is so dumb. Like, I'm not surprised, given the community, like, with, you know, their amazing intellect, but, like, fuck me, man.
Did any of you even think, oh wow, even if she's in Ray's circle, we have known for years that she is a victim of abuse. This is 2021, Guru. I will let you know, this all happened over a year after I had already come out the first time about Vivian. It was public knowledge that I was a victim of Vivian, and yet y'all strung this story that I worked with Vivian to oust George.
Yeah.
See, I think Light wants to say something, so Light, if you have something to say.
Really, this needs to be asked to just about everybody in the Cloud Palace, but you were in the Cloud Palace, so I can just ask you. Did you know there were minors who were friends with Rachel at the time?
Did.
You were cutting out, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Okay. So you guys... Actually, no, let me change my line of questioning. You guys knew that Rachel was a serial abuser, correct?
Yes.
Why was your first instinct with the people, especially with Sap, who was a victim of serial abuse, and with people who were minors in that circle, why was you guys' first move to villainize everybody in that circle instead of trying to help them get out?
I think it's because there was just generally a distrust for anybody associated with Ray. And that led to like very clear evidence being brushed aside.
It's not good enough.
It's really not.
I know.
So,
because
Sliggins.
even disregarding, oh well, the Vivian thing, the community had seen me in the past be a victim of Rachel.
I mean, at least like even though it's like a stupid mindset to have, at least they're being really blunt with it. At the very least, it's dumb though. Like, just because someone happens to have people that are not great people to be associated with, that doesn't automatically make the people they're associated with guilty. It's dumb, especially in this case, considering, like, you know, I'm pretty sure Rachel was like a pedophile or a groomer, and it's like they're around a bunch of minors that could be potentially enabling their actions. Like, that would be like the first line of questioning that you would have to think. It's like that automatically think that these kids are evil just because they're around someone that would, you know, be fucking evil, right? It's insane. It's genuinely insane. But that's a crazy conclusion to dive to. But it doesn't help that also that point also falls void, considering, I don't know, like fucking Doodle Tones, right? Like, they will victimize themselves 100%. They used it to get out of like all these situations, and it's like that logic worked for them. But like, if anyone else was a victim of something, oh no, fuck nuance, dude. I don't want to see that. It's just so insane. But yeah.
Rachel. People like Heaton and Caden and Scarlet had seen me be a victim of
Yeah, Ray is also a repeated rapist. I figured. Yeah, I figured.
Rachel's abuse. So instead of trying your best to contact me at all, y'all villainized me and blamed my fucking partner's grooming. You blamed that idea being implanted into his head on me. Reminder, when this happened, I was 19 years old. When the George doc came out, I was only 19.
Okay.
I was a victim of George when I was 16. I was still a teenager. Even if you want to get into semantics of, oh, you were over the age of 18, you were an adult. I was still a teenager.
Okay.
And yet, you guys knew already that I was a victim of both Vivian and of Rachel and George. And instead of doing anything, you pinned all of what George did on Vivian and on me. Vivian is a completely different story. She's a serial abuser. But what did a 19-year-old ever do to have that pinned on her?
I think Guru already answered it. You were associated with the wrong group of people who was widely hated. Even the vulnerable people within that circle were treated no worse than the heads of it, which is disgusting, and it's a pattern that this community participated in. In Guru, you definitely were too old.
As communities way too used to just jump in and guilt by
you were too
association.
To just, oh, I was led astray. Because, no, you read the original document, and your...
A space liked and added to the Doodle thing. Doodle, Heat, and a few others, SEC used to be friends with Ray. Yeah, no, then that automatically should give them, like, nuance to it, considering they understand, like, it, literally, yeah, I do remember that in Cloak and Dagger. Both, June and Doodletones were talking about their experience with being friends with Rachel and being too good faith. So it's like, that's insane that they wouldn't, give, like, the same good faith that they expect to be given to them with Rachel. One of the reasons we were allowed to talk to was they wanted to harass us. Okay, none of them bothered to reach out to any of us. There were 2 claims of grooming, but one was reverse grooming. The other had no screenshots or evidence in the Rachel document. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that these people literally set out a standard to always reach out to people, but then don't even do that either. But yeah.
Priorities were not, hey, let's actually hear out what these kids say happened to them because of George. Hold on. Instead, it was, oh, let's see how I can pick out the victims being dishonest. There was no want to check if the claims had any validity to them, and you didn't even have to do anything for that. George came out and admitted that he did exactly what Leo and Amity claimed they did. And
they even claim to be abused by Ray on the docks. Dude, these people are fucking insufferable. Fuck me, man.
There's no excuse for that. And I'm honestly at the point of growing tired of asking why, because I kind of honestly don't care about the why anymore, because no why would have made that acceptable. And especially you talking, oh, I was led astray, when you had all the fucking resources in front of you. I'm not really sure that you're interested in trying to take responsibility for what you did back then, and I'm gonna let someone else speak before I decide what my fucking verdict on that is.
I want to ask a genuine question, because it's important for generally how the community handled everything given with Rachel's circle. Guru, do you know why I came back into the SEC and why people accepted me back? Because you know what Rachel did to me, right?
You might have to remind me.
I was sexually assaulted. It took that happening to me for anyone to actually give a shit. Because no one ever reached out to me. If someone had reached out, maybe I could have avoided all of that. And it comes to the issue of the community was too focused on hating the circle that you couldn't differentiate genuine aggressors and people who were just caught in the wrong circle who could have gotten out. You matched them into one conglomerate and you vilified them. And that's not—
Hold on one second. I have also gotten some more art to look at. It's evil. It's actually ontologically evil. Okay? You guys are gonna be... Dude, it's Beepleton. Himpleton. Dude, look at this. Himpleton can be bees, alright? He has joined the Beehive army. Alright? It is actually evil stuff. Fucking hell. This guy wants romantic goblins sexually, by the way. Anyways, moving on. Back to the video we go.
It's not just a you thing. It was the entire Cloud Palace. It was the entire community at the time, because everyone was so focused on getting the raid doc out that you forgot that there could still be other victims, and there were victims of already existing serial abuse, and you lumped them in with her.
You specifically. Well, yes, you specifically in some regards, but it was most people in the Cloud Palace. You told me they were all enablers.
Yes, I did.
You people all said that the only people from that circle that at any point you could forgive were Ty and Levers. None of the victims, not Amity, the already known victim of Ray at the time. Not Abby, who I'm pretty sure was a kid at the time.
I can confirm, yes. If I may, I just find it very funny. Y'all said the only two people you would be willing to forgive from Rachel's circle were Ty and Levers. I can tell you for a fact that you don't deserve their forgiveness. Ty is in the other room, and I know for a fact he could tell you that you do not. Given how you treated his fucking wife. So good job, guys. Good job, Cloud Palace.
I'm right here. I can confirm. No, I don't.
Thanks, babe.
Thanks, babe.
It just comes down to the way there needs to be some fucking...
Okay, nah, I'm joking. He doesn't buzz it to Goblin, okay? That's a joke. It's a reference to him sweeping for Goblin. Okay. Fucking hell. Cameo, what's up, Autumn?
There needs to be some fucking actual thought given when you look at a situation in a cult of personality like that group.
Are you around?
Do you know who else was in that group? Guru, do you know who else was still in Rachel's
What's up,
circle
Lyndon?
up until the doc was republished? Leo. The person y'all chased off the internet because you couldn't be bothered to actually listen to a victim. Y'all cared more about letting a groomer back into the community because of semantics and George's kink not being quote-unquote inherently sexual. You blamed a child.
I'm sorry, Seth. Just hit me with that. They chased Leo? Like, was Leo already there? Or did, like, they chase Leo into Ray's circle?
Basically, Leo was in and out. He was doing his own thing. And then the George video came out. And then in tandem with George's video coming out, Leo wiped his document clean and said something along the lines of, I'm sorry, I know I messed up. Because everyone was saying Leo was... In public, they were saying Leo was just led astray by Vivian. In private, you guys were blaming Leo. And where else did Leo have to go when one group of people are already saying that he's a liar? Who was going to validate Leo? It was only going to be Rachel. Rachel and us.
That's depressing.
Actually, okay. This one's curious to me because this one's maybe a little bit less important, but it is such an annoying double standard that I'm... So, you guys pretty much tribalismed out almost every victim of Ray from the current circle at the time. Told everybody around you guys, including children in the community who weren't around for Rachel, that they were enablers. I didn't know who Saf was until she came back. Like, I didn't know Saf and, like, Gwen were the same person, and I was always told that Gwen was a willing enabler who knew what they were doing.
I was also under that same umbrella. I was also called a liar.
Oh, what's up, Goat?
Yes, you were. I remember.
Yikes.
But I know that Donnie was in the circle at the time. So what was the special... Because he was kicked out a lot later than you guys were doing a lot of this shit. Because if I'm remembering my dates right, I joined pretty early 2020, and y'all were saying everything about that at the time. So what made Donnie an exception? Like, do you know?
No.
So from your perspective, did you just pick a name out of a hat and go, that one's a valid victim of Ray?
I think it's because I knew he was a victim of Ray.
But you knew Seth was a victim of Ray.
So hold up, I must jump in here for a second. But hold up, so
pause.
You knew that was a victim of Ray, but when you were confronted with the very clear evidence of Horace victimizing people, like this is what gets me so much. Like it was out there. You watched it on screen if you watched Susie's video, and you said, "Nuh-uh, not that one. That's not sexual enough to constitute victim status." But when it came to another thing, that's where you immediately went, "Oh yeah, that's an actual victim. Like that's actual victimization." How does that work? If you know it for one person, you know it for the other person.
They were led astray.
Yeah, very clearly, because...
Not even guess. It was very clearly double standard, and I think it was... I thought that Saf was still associated with Ray at that time.
Oh, I was. Because I was being manipulated. And again, y'all wouldn't have known this because no one reached out to me.
But also, what does association matter when the evidence is there? Who cares who's associated with who? If there's evidence of grooming,
Well, the association
it's
probably
grooming.
made them ignore the
You don't
evidence.
get to magically say, "Oh, this person didn't
Not
get
a
groomed
good
because they're
thing,
associating with
but
XYZ
an
that I don't like."
explanation.
So therefore, it's not grooming.
Y'all are one step away from saying I wasn't groomed by Vivian because I was associated with Rachel.
Again, you were old enough to know better. You were one of the few people in this situation that was old enough to look at the evidence that was given to you, assess it, and come to the conclusion that yes, this was admitted to and happening, sexual misconduct with a child.
from my own experience, back when we had to expose Vita for being what he is, one of the people who rebelled against that was Jordan. We didn't know
Fucking
at the time
Vita, bro.
They were a victim of Vita. But even when we didn't know that, when we had a minor wanting to engage with somebody we knew was a known predator and knowing full well their parents did not care, would not listen, all we could do was disengage. We couldn't do anything else. But here, I don't see even disengagement. I see active harassment. And on top of that, I see believe some victims. And I guess the little asterisk on the sum has to do with whether or not you like them as a person. Because I did it again before, I'll say it again, this community babies Donnie. I know that they've been wrong in other ways, but it seems to me like you're one of the people who have done it. So what I have noticed is you people pick and choose who you think is a victim, primarily based on whether or not you like them as a person. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go on a tirade about how disgusting that is. I think you should know by now. But I'm tired of you sitting here quietly instead of giving the actual reasons, because I don't believe for a moment you don't have them. I'm tired of I don't know. I've been putting up with it for over a year now. For everybody and their mother, I'm not putting up with it anymore. You had to have some thought process go through your mind when you were saying and perpetrating these actions, when you were victimizing these individuals further. I want to know what it is. I don't want any ifs, ands, or buts. I want direct statements. I asked you 30 minutes ago, who perpetuated these things and led you astray, and we are still now 30 minutes later, you magically can't remember. I recommend you start loosening your tongue, because I'm getting very sick of this, genuinely. And I've been calm this entire time.
Yeah.
That's going to change if you don't knock it off.
I don't
We already
buy
know
it.
who it is. You're not gaining anything by not saying it.
I don't buy that you just thoughtlessly did all this stuff for years.
Again, we know who it is, Guru. You're not covering for anyone. We already know who, quote unquote, led you astray. You're not gaining anything
Doodletones.
by not saying it.
Also, Guru, we allegedly share a faith. I recommend you start talking before I go on a tirade in that direction, too.
Allegedly share a faith, bro.
I really am trying to remember, like, the names. Was it, like... Or not... Misspoken. I misspoke. I'm sorry.
Don't use that name.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really
that's
sorry.
my dead name. Don't do that, okay?
I really didn't mean to.
Fine, whatever.
I do know that Yoon poisoned a lot of people against Rin.
Poisoned?
I'm really trying to remember who poisoned, like, everyone against Ray and everyone involved in her circle.
Bro, this sheep is coping. The sheep who led the pack is coping. Dude, fuck me, man. Yeah, these people poisoned these other people. They brainwashed them to think that. It's like, dude, the evidence was literally in the video. You just listened to, like, blindly what Doodletones said and just went along with it because you liked Doodletones, but you didn't like the other people. This is so dumb. Fuck me, man.
Okay, I don't care if you were poisoned against Ray. Ray should do what Vivian did. Ray should learn how to time travel and themselves 5 years ago. No one here is asking you who poisoned you against Ray. That is not what is being asked of you.
Who poisoned you against Ray's victims, Ray's circle? I don't give a fuck. Because, yeah, you know what? Yeah, hating Ray, very, very reasonable. What the fuck did anyone associated with her do? And I can tell you, Ed, when I see you in chat, no, it was not Yoon.
And I gotta ask, were people actually angry at Ray for the predation, or were they angry at Ray for something else and then that happened later?
The predation happened in 2023.
Okay, but
Well, hold on.
oh my god.
Let me clarify. The document against Rachel came out in 2022, meaning that they were working on that document in 2021.
Okay, what did Ray do? Give me a TLDR.
Oh god. Grooming, sexual assault, shit
Well, this
talk
is
behind
beforehand.
people's backs. Oh, beforehand. Shit talk.
I want to know. I'm sorry, what?
She was talking behind people's backs.
Yep.
So in 2021, people were ostracizing and harassing people around Rachel because she backbit people.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, think of, like, a lot of what Ray was doing in 2020, like, before we
That's
knew about predation.
stupid.
Think about it as just a lot of making people uncomfortable in calls, and basically just doing what Liv did back in September. Like, if you remember that call, that was Ray, just on a bigger scale.
Yeah. You guys can't use the sexual assault because that didn't happen until a year later.
That's what you
From
guys
this.
put over victims of grooming?
They're a
Apparently they found out about
backstabber.
that later.
No.
They didn't know about it when they were.
I'm saying they took their dislike of Rachel for being a sleazy little hoe, and used that as
Okay.
a reason to ignore and downplay and dismiss victims of grooming just because they were in her circle.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I was getting to, and that's why I was kind of having a brain malfunction there.
Holy fuck, Guru, you're pathetic.
How does this rate?
They were
It's
mean.
under
That's
important.
why I had to, like,
With
bully
this
the
stupid little
victims.
community, the dumbest things are given the greatest importance, and the important things are relegated to not important. How did this happen? I know you're all commentary, but good God, this is a level of stupid I don't often see to this degree.
Did Lio
You've been
finish their
given plenty
figure?
of time to think, Guru. I want answers now. And I do mean
Whoa.
now. Not in 30 seconds, not in 1 minute. I mean now. Why? You made a billion freaking commentaries. You can open your mouth and answer questions when you're in the hot seat.
I really can't remember right now. I can't.
Magic.
Okay, so you can't remember who, but you can remember that you were led astray. You know what that tells me? I can't remember how I did this, but I can remember it was an accident.
Honestly, the longer you stay silent, the more I'm inclined to believe that you weren't led astray, and that this was just something you all fucking mutually agreed to. This was not a case of being led astray. Y'all saw multiple victims and decided that they weren't important because of who they were associated with. You threw Leo's story away. You threw my story away and pinned the blame of Leo's grooming on me. Mind you, no one has ever reached out to Leo since then. You want to know what he thinks about all of this?
Yeah, no, this is
Y'all come
genuinely
out
insane.
here and say, oh, Leo was actually being groomed by Vivian. Yeah, he was. But he was also being groomed by George. And the person you guys blame for all of this, the person y'all blame for him thinking he was groomed by George, was me. Y'all think he's okay with you saying that about me? You guys have done nothing but make decisions for victims and decide what their grooming is. You guys were so confident in saying that, oh, Leo wasn't groomed by George. George is just a little irresponsible. No, the real perpetrator here is Vivian, because she had this pure hatred of George and wanted him gone. You threw victim stories away. And I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear that it's solely because we were associated with Rachel. I don't want to fucking hear that. Because if that's your only reason, then there needs to be a fucking wake-up call for a lot of people.
You know what? If that is your only reason, say it.
It was because of your association with Ray.
Oh god.
Okay, all right.
This person's
so
cooked.
you helped harbor a predator in the circle, including around his victims, and actually, helped get those victims to a point where they apologized to the man that groomed them. You fucking let him paint that whole story as a wrong done unto him. Are you around any sphere with children?
No.
Keep it that way.
So let me get this straight, Guru. Because of the actions of you and other people, victims were not listened to, and people who were tied to Ray continue to be tied to Ray because of how you guys treated them, yes?
Bro.
I don't know if it's still going on, but I do know, yes, that was the case.
Okay,
as far as
it did happen. Okay, cool.
Y'all's treatment of us as people around Ray is what made it possible for Ray to keep us around. Y'all knew Ray. Y'all knew how tactical Ray was.
Also, yeah, you guys, I've seen this be brought up a few times. I think it's genuinely disgusting. Have you seen the recent discovery on Susie? They found OC of hers she came up with and drew, who is a 8-year-old child with the brain of an 18-year-old. Messed up stuff. Yeah, no, genuinely, I think it was like their age play stuff that they were into. I thought that was pretty much publicly known. I swear, like, one of Doodletones' detractors used that as a point against them. But I could understand if, like, that wasn't, like, heavily known within their, like, friend group. But I'm pretty sure that was a point that was being used. But yeah, I remember hearing about that beforehand. Yeah. So I've definitely heard of it. It's disgusting.
Ray, you should have known that Ray could have used y'all's antagonization of us to keep us around her. I swear to God, I never want to hear anyone who was in the Cloud Palace at this time and enabled this behavior talk about, like, if you were an adult, I don't ever want to hear you talk about how much you care about the safety of children or the safety of victims ever again. Because you don't. You only care about them when they're not around people that you don't like.
This is asinine. The thing is, I don't believe for a second that you magically forgot this all happened in the little bit of time I've been around you people. You've had years to own this and apologize properly. Because you know what? I can buy in this stupid, asinine little community. People, what's the word? Tribalizing to this degree. Because none of you are adults. You might be the age, but you certainly don't have the mind for it. What I cannot abide is every time something like this happens, you people have to be dragged into a call about it. You never just look back and say, you know what, man, I really screwed this up. I'm sick of it. I am genuinely sick of it.
This community as a whole, the adults, not the ones who were minors at the time, the adults who are in this community and who enabled this, you owe a lot of fucking apologies. You owe apologies to Donnie. You owe apologies to Autumn. You owe apologies to me, and most importantly, you owe apologies to Leo. But guess what? It's probably too fucking late for that.
Did you guys ever
Leo
get the...
Do you understand?
A random question, just out of curiosity, because I think, Autumn, if you're still in the chat, did you guys ever, like, get those apologies, by the way, from the community that, like, actively, like, were slandering you guys and shit like that? Or did they just kind of, like, were spineless and just decide not to say anything else about it? I'm just kind of curious about that. If not, then, yeah, no, that's really cowardice. But if so, then, yeah, just, it's not great, but at least they're doing something.
How horribly Leo has been hurt by all of this? Has anyone actually taken a moment to process, oh, we did all of this, and it could have definitely hurt Leo. No one did. Because if you did care, you would have tried to reach out, even if not to Leo directly, to someone who you knew was in contact with Leo.
Wait, why was that blacked out?
You would have tried to reach out,
Was there supposed to be a screenshot here, or was there just like a recording malfunction? I can't tell. Or is there going to be like maybe a new? Are they just doing a new
even if not
video?
to Leo directly, to someone who you knew was in contact with Leo.
I have no clue what that was.
Don't ever tell me you care about victims when this.
A good amount of them. Okay, so, all right, that makes sense. I kind of feel like I know the answer to this one. Did a Doodle Tones ever like apologize for it? If so, or if not, like I'm just kind of curious as well. I think there's definitely a lot of people I feel like should. I didn't want them, but yes, I mainly want them for Leo. Makes sense.
This is how you act. Congratulations, you kept a victim towards another known serial abuser. Hell, maybe if y'all hadn't acted this way, maybe I could have gotten away from Ray. You know, before the worst moment of my life happened. Congrats!
I could have gotten away sooner too, because people were stalking my social media and any comments I made in different videos that they were in channels that they were looking at. Because I remember that I made a comment on one of Sprocket's videos and I got jumped on by multiple people from the Cloud Palace. And I told them I wasn't even talking to Ray at that point because I had distanced myself from her for about a year because of college and because I broke up with her and I needed time away. That didn't signal anything to y'all?
Hey, I don't know why I asked that. I do remember Susie just randomly going like, "Sorry," in the call. Yeah, I do remember that now.
I have screenshots of those comments too.
Yes, please get them. Please get them.
Because I might. Because I don't think I screenshotted most of the people's replies, but I know Mr. A did. Let me get that.
Yeah, and again, this isn't new behavior. Y'all did the same thing to both me and Rin in the comments of Susie's video on George.
No, Gil, just be honest with me if you remember.
Guys, the video is not laggy, guys. You see it, Lio's just that fast.
Which I don't believe you won't. Did you guys keep tabs? Did you intentionally look for Rachel's pals, chums, victims? Did you intentionally look for their information and intentionally look and hunt these kids down?
I can tell you that's true for a fact. I can tell you because I remember one day looking in the Cloud Palace, and I saw you guys took my tweet after the doc on Ray was published. You guys took my tweet, posted it, called me a fucking bitch, and then posted about how I was going to a private account. You know, did anyone think did anyone ever try to think about why I might have done that? Y'all, I'm sure the comments analysis was, oh, she's running away from responsibility. Responsibility from what?
You people hunted down and I'm using the word. Fuck it, I'm using the word. You people stalked people for being in contact with somebody who you guys knew were a serial abuser, and you guys knew these people when they were children?
I can tell you, people in this community have known me as early as when I was 14. 14. There have been people who have seen how Rachel has treated me, whether it be through petty nonsense on Twitter or telling people that I faked a suicide attempt.
Okay, no.
How old were you when that happened?
14. I was 14 years old.
Do you remember who?
Oh, I can tell you it was basically anyone who was in BOP, because Rachel went into the BOP chat and told people that I quote unquote faked an attempt.
You better not have been in BOP, I swear to God.
Dude.
I don't think I was. I don't remember doing
that. Were you associated with the commentary community in 2014? That's my question.
In 2014, I was present, but I wasn't really involved as much as I was like in 2021.
So but regardless, there were people who saw that. It had you guys. There was evidence that I was a victim, and yet you guys. Right. Is it because I turned 18, I magically lose my victimhood, and y'all just decide to stalk my whereabouts? Congratulations, because if that's the case, y'all are no better than Rachel. You're no better than Rachel and her fucking partners right now because they've been stalking me for over a year. Autumn and Ephron can tell you that for a fact.
All right, Autumn, Amity.
Yes.
Can I ask what you two want from Guru right now?
I want an apology, not to me. I don't care about having an apology. I want a written apology to Leo. A genuine apology, not some fucking small-ass paragraph Google Doc a la fucking Keyblade Master. I want a genuine apology to Leo for how you and how the rest of the Cloud Palace treated him in bringing back George.
Are they going to do that, though? Not sure.
I personally don't want an apology, but I do second Leo to definitely get one. Because it's one thing for me to be here, and it's another for Leo not being here. I think Leo definitely needs one.
And I'm
Actually, Habit, that is a
Leo
good
needs one
question.
from a lot of people.
and I'm gonna
Habit, that's a good question. Guru, this is unlikely, but Guru, did you see any of RCV's posts about being in a relationship with Habit?
When was this?
Habit, when did your relationship with RCV start? Like, what years was it going on?
It was the relationship was active from mid 2016 to mid 2019.
Okay.
3 years. Y'all had 3 years to see this.
So did you see in any of these accounts the times RCV was sexualizing Habit or talking publicly about the relationship, and especially in the latter 2 years, talking about how he was dating a child?
Fucking hell.
No, I don't think I did.
Good, because if you did, I would have a lot to say.
And I want to expand that question that I just asked you
Sorry.
and Autumn, Amity.
Mm-hmm.
What do we want Guru to do moving
Okay,
forward?
Leo
'Cause
to get an
I personally
apology.
don't think that he should just go back to normal whatever the fuck. What do you
No.
guys think he should do?
No,
First
I
off,
think
you have to leave Taco Bell.
No, we're okay. Let Amity and Autumn speak though.
I think you need to do exactly the same as people at Susie are doing. You need to get out of these spaces, get offline for a long time, focus on your actual fucking life, and most importantly, stay away from children. I don't care if you haven't in yourself endangered children along the lines of George or Rachel. You let these things happen. You need to stay away from children, especially on the internet.
But yeah, basically that's really the only thing I can ask in this scenario. I don't trust you being in spaces like this, especially when we came at you regarding a different situation beforehand. And although I know life has forgiven you for that scenario, for that instance, it still is a symptom of behavior that needs to be corrected offline.
And again, before any of that, my DMs are going to be open. I want that apology for Leo. I don't want an apology for me. I do not want to hear I'm sorry, Amity, because I don't want that. Y'all have had years to give that to me. You never did, even when I came back to the SCC. I want an apology for Leo, because it's about fucking time y'all actually consider him.
Amity, Autumn, would you be okay if this is where things ended?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
That's fine with me.
Alright. Guru, for harboring a predator in a community full of children because you were too stupid and, more importantly, too malicious to actually look at his fucking crimes for what they were, it's time for you to fuck off. And I, quite frankly, I sent...
Why'd they frame it like a total drama elimination? It's like... Today, the contestants that are on the chopping block are Guru and Doodle Tones. Let's see who gets the darkest shame. Like, dead. Oh, Doodle did an SEC video about how they need to talk to more, talking about the habit shit, and said it's not grooming there, just an abusive relationship. I don't know about that video. I might have been given that video, to be honest, but I've been sent some videos I haven't got to look at myself yet. Been busy with other things. But that sounds interesting. I was like, alright, campers, let's see which SCC creator we need to eliminate today. Looks like Guru's on the chopping block. Darkest shame for you, little pal. Like, oh my god. Dude, he's gone. He's smoked.
Sentence you to an actual adult life. In the real world. You don't get to be here anymore. But before you do that, you have to write out that apology to Leo. So make it count. We don't need you in this call anymore, so get out.
Go! Get out!
Later on during that weekend after this call that Susie messaged me, saying she accidentally deleted her channel.
Hold on. So, bad news, Leo, or maybe it's great news, I don't know. I actually deleted the Doodletones account while trying to delete a different one. They were connected to the same Google account, and while I thought I was on the one channel, I wound up being on the other. That's asinine. Can it be undone? I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm sorry. I had everything set up so that I could pass the keys. We were like 2 days away. Then I go and do this. Whoopsie. Why were you even trying to delete anything? Because you guys said I don't deserve a platform. So I've been going around downloading videos and then deleting channels all week. I just figured if I had nothing to come back to, then you guys would no longer have to worry about me. Was that not the right response? I'm going to lose it, bro. JFK. I ought to do something crazy. Nah. They will not be getting a marshmallow. Dude, I gotta rewatch not Doodletones, fuck that. I gotta rewatch Total Drama at some point. That show's goated. But yeah, no. Yeah. Apparently, I wonder if they accidentally deleted their, Discord account. Curious stuff. Curious stuff. But yeah, here we are, a month later.
And to be frank, I don't believe her. After Julie kind of crashed out on her,
I'm sorry. You do realize that everything else that I'm finding is very difficult to believe this was an accident, yes? I did have a feeling you'd think that, but I promise it was. Did you delete it via deleting a Google account? I mean, it asked for the email, but I think the account itself might still be up. Dude.
wound up talking to her and at least getting some of the needed data from her. But at this point, it was time. So a final call with Susie was...
You see, now I wonder, right? Not to, sound schizo or anything, right? But it does make me wonder, the quote-unquote accidentally, because they obviously intentionally deleted their channel. What else do you think Doodle Tones found, right? Because it's very obvious, right? They at least had 5 days to look through their stuff from this point. Do you think Doodle Tones found something even worse than sweeping for George Raccoon? Because I'm genuinely wondering it. But do you guys think that? Because that's kind of weird for them to, delete their channel just out of the blue. It comes to me like they're hiding something. Genuinely. And it makes me wonder if they did something somehow worse than defending a groomer. But, one can only imagine.
Was had in courthouse. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this started. I don't know much in the way of a preamble for this, but I'm going to go ahead and say this much. Susie, you have been in this community for almost a decade now, based on what I've seen, if not longer than that.
Yes.
I came to you a few months ago asking you for access to the Cloud Palace because I was going to help you address the things you thought you needed to address. And up until now, I have not been able to really look in it because it is, in genuine truth, a massive server that's had, at any given time, 50 people in it, and all of them won't shut up. We have, however, had several people come in and start digging, and I will be blunt.
Yes, I think this is the extortion sign. Dude, also, 77 viewers and only 20 likes, guys. We gotta get those up. Get those up, please! Please! And subscribe if you're new. Doodle found or was involved into something worse. No one just deletes everything when confronted accidentally. No, yeah, that's why I'm thinking that, dude. There's definitely gonna be something objectively worse. There's no way. One can only begin to fathom what is going on inside their head. Fucking hell. Yeah, Google asked multiple times if you're sure you want this. This wasn't a oops, I pressed delete to it's gone situation. Yeah, no, genuinely, actually insane.
You have cultivated one of the ugliest communities I have ever seen in my life. And this isn't even counting the George Raccoon stuff that we're also here to talk about. The way you people talked, the way you conspired, or the way you discussed victims and the victimizers, how you spoke about children is... The only thing more disgusting than it I can find at this point is the FCK because children were preyed upon. What you did, Susie, was you ran one of the most cutthroat, vile child bullying servers I've ever seen in my entire life. Every single individual so far that I've seen there, that at some point I thought was a decent human being, has clearly just been playing a part, because this is what they actually are behind the scenes. Now, normally I would cut you slack, because you, as foolish as the reason you've given me is, have told me why you did not have any moderators up until the very end, the last few months of its operation. You didn't have many moderators because you couldn't trust them. The problem is, you contributed to this. You pushed it. You enabled it. And
that's my thoughts as well, especially with the CP shit in her comments and showing the link in her Discord at A-Space. Yeah, no, okay. I've been hearing some stuff, right? And I don't even want to know the context. I mean, but I've been hearing some things to do with Doodle Tone situation, that there was things that people thought were CP. And it's linked to Doodle Tone somehow, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens when the Cloud Palace gets leaked. I'm very curious because I'm pretty sure Akumu is making a video on it, and Julie might be talking about some parts of it too. But that server's supposed to have some really fucked up stuff in it, some really messed up stuff. But it's crazy. I'm pretty sure Doodle used to RP as an 8-year-old, and not to mention the Cloud Palace behavior they fostered. This was just surface level. Yeah, no, the 8-year-old thing is definitely a thing. Cloud Palace. I mean, Dad. There's a the reason why they had to put the Cloud Palace because so it could be TCP. Imagine if they didn't do the. It's like, welcome to Cloud Palace. Fucking hell, that's awful.
Susie, it's bad. It is severely unpleasant.
Susie's back.
I am sure it is.
Oh, voice filter.
I did not do a whole hell of a lot to keep the Cloud Palace at bay, and let me finish. Let me finish.
No.
I did not do a lot to keep the Cloud Palace at bay, and I do tend to join into very, I guess, tribalistic behaviors, and that is not okay for a leader. That is not okay for just a general person in the community. It's not okay behavior. It is genuinely immature. And you guys told me a few days ago that, or no, it was last week at this point, that you don't trust me or that I'm not mature enough to have a platform. I thought about it and agreed.
Susie, immature is not the correct word here.
Sorry, vile,
Then let me go.
disgusting. Sorry.
Susie, you are dangerous. 'Cause you're right, 'cause, you know, part of the problem I'm having now is I don't know how much of what you told me is true versus a lie, because apparently you will lie to me.
Did Lio just call a trans woman dangerous? Tisk tisk. Not so progressive, are we? Interesting how that works. No, I'm fucking kidding. Dude. Fuck me, man.
I'm going to ask you a very direct question, and it's going to be a very strange question for me to ask you, but I will ask you regardless. Susie, who came up with the term or the name of Doodle Diapers?
Uh-oh.
That was Mr. Medicare.
That's
It was not Mr. Medicare.
That's a lie.
It was you.
Oh.
Was it?
It was
Was
you.
it? What?
2014. One moment, I'll read it off for you.
Yeah, please do, because I don't recall this.
Yep, it was you. Behold, from the creator of the D-Diaper, Doodle Diapers Inc. bring you the Time Diaper. Just think of an age and you'll become it, with the only downside being you'll be a bedwetter. But only for those who play that isn't a problem. Order, start RPing now. You did.
Yes, I
You
did.
started that.
I don't remember that.
Convenient forgetting. Convenient forgetting. Our amnesia. Fuck me. Dude. Dude, it's actually insane to me though. Genuinely insane though. That this fucking shit happened. I mean, fuck me. I don't want to like be too harsh on them because it's like, admittedly, right? Doodletones lying about the name Doodle Diapers, it's got to be like one of the most bizarre and unusual things to just lie about, like out of the blue. But like, I guess like this kind of did show that they didn't really look into it themselves and just took what Doodletones said at their like face value. But it's like they genuinely believe Mr. Medicare was like a genius, right? And came up with Doodle Diapers on their own. No, I'm kidding. I fuck with Mr. Medicare. They're chill. But no, it's like they genuinely thought this person just randomly started calling, you know, them Doodle Diapers just to make fun of their kink, and Doodletones played into it. They literally played, like, I want to know the mindset. Like, if they created the name, right, obviously they had to intentionally victimize themselves. When it's like, they just simply called them Doodle Diapers. And like, oh, they're making fun of my kink, they're making fun of me, like, you clearly, right, you clearly intentionally victimize yourself if you made the name. It's just really odd that they lied about this for so long. It's a very bizarre and weird thing to lie about. Just, I don't know, dude. Dang, first the Glass Raven and now Doodle, there's a connection. Okay, buddy. Dude, they never remember the actions they do, though, but remember everything else. Yeah, no, it's actually insane. It's, obviously, they're just pretending to forget, just so they don't have to, like, you know, take the accountability for their own actions. But it's tedious. So it's like, I can't be too hard on them, because it's like, realistically, if I had a friend, right, you know, and they said, like, dude, they're calling me this name to make fun of what I'm into, it's like, okay, that's a dick move. That's a weird thing to lie about. Like, you know, that's just a weird thing to lie about. But then to publicly defend it, you should probably double check it. But, you know, it's just stupid. Remember, they could remember everything something did as a minor and make a video on it, but don't bring up their diaper past as a minor or adult. Yeah, no, it's just really insane.
I genuinely don't remember that, but
I'm sure, because what I have noticed is this community, whenever somebody's in hot water, suddenly have selective amnesia.
No,
I'm kind of tired of it.
Selective amnesia.
something from like what?
You say no, but Susie.
Call it as you see it.
Like that's 11 years ago. I'm not gonna always.
Susie.
I'm not gonna remember everything I posted.
When did the Medicare thing happen?
Hi, Spark Rizzle.
It was 2016. That was almost a decade ago.
So you forgot within 2 years then, not 11.
I guess that's a good point.
I guess that's a good point, you're mogged. So, actually, it was a shorter time span that you happened to forget. Oh, yeah, no, you got me. You got me. Yeah, liar, you got me. You got me. Just dead. Dude, fuck me. Fucking. Does anybody else hate that Doodle calls herself asexual, but she has a lolicon diaper fetish? Leave the actual asexual out of this, Doodles. How would you be asexual but then have kinks? That kind of sounds like a contradiction. Is that even a thing? That sounds like a contradiction. Like, one saying that you don't have a sexual attraction to anything, but like a kink by nature would, like, you know, have, like, you know, a sexual attraction to something, especially into that stuff. It's just, yeah, that's sounds like an oxymoron. Yeah, look at my asexual kinks. Like, the fuck. It's like that's pretty bizarre, but yeah, bizarre stuff happening.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you have gone on record multiple times saying how troublesome the Medicare situation was, how traumatizing and damaging it was, yes?
Oh, they're gonna bring up the Linlin thing here, right?
Then why is it I have a screen cap from you in a different server, hoping that Linlin goes through a
Yep.
Medicare moment because she did a bad commentary that he didn't like?
Yes, did ask me about that. In short, I was just really frustrated at Lynn over something. It's not okay. Well, I did look back on our DMs, and we actually talked about the video later that night. Lynn eventually.
Wait, why am I zoomed out? The fuck? My fault, guys.
The problems that I had with the video on pre-show, and she apologized and deleted the video shortly thereafter. I've mentioned it before to you, Lio. When people say that I have patience with saints, I tend to disagree. I have actually a very short fuse, and that's an example of it.
The problem is, that should have been your learning moment. That should have been a moment where you figured, hey, I can just talk to Linlin if there's a problem. I shouldn't have had to get in your face a couple years after that.
Ace, people can have kinks. It's a spectrum. Okay, but I thought, okay, there are asexuals that are in kink. Well, no, I know asexual is a spectrum, but isn't, like, the core of it to not feel something sexual? I know, like, there's things like capiosexual and, like, other things in the asexual spectrum. So, like, obviously, I think, like, if you can, like, if it's just a little bit, like, yeah, I would understand a kink, but isn't the core to just not have sexual feelings? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what Doodle Tones claimed. But yeah. Wait until Ace finds out about Arrow Ace gays. I don't even know what that is. What the fuck is that? This is what is that? Ace space, that's aromantic, and 2 asexuality is a spectrum, so ace people can have gays. Okay, so you guys gotta stop calling them ace people because my name is also Ace, so you're just, like, throwing me off. Like, you're saying ace people can have kinks. I'm like, yeah, I know people could have kinks. But no, it's taken me a second to process, like, oh, wait, you're talking about ace people. Like, like, I'm just getting mogged here. No, it's so over. It is so over, bro. It is so fucking over. I'm so mogged right now. It's complicated. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna pretend to understand something I don't. But yeah. Anyways.
I did. In fact, I'm looking at the logs here, and it seems like all sorts of deranged behavior, chatter, and everything were talked about in your server, and enabled, and embedded. And, Susie, you are the problem. The community you have cultivated is the problem. The call is coming from inside the house. And now I'm starting to fully understand, as much as we joked about me beating Septi's banning record, I'm starting to really understand why I was never invited into the server. I think deep down, you or whoever else was in there knew I would lose my mind if I was put in this place.
No, I didn't have a problem with you potentially joining.
At Ace Space, Ace Arrow is a spectrum that they don't often specify. Okay. But a lot of Ace people like this mostly don't have sexual feelings to others, but may have sexual related things, separating it. Dude, I'm gonna be so real. I'm not gonna pretend to understand a lot of things. I'm not. I respect that, but I don't. I'm just lost. My tiny brain blown. You can want it and not feel the attraction, if that makes sense. Yeah, I understand that concept. Just like how ace people could still have spicy time, but may feel not feel fully into it. But that makes sense. Spectrum Willy. No, honestly, that's I'm pretty sure that's capiosexual as well. Like that is a part of the ace spectrum. Because capiosexual, if I remember correctly, is like, you know, not being able to have sexual feelings, but you want to have sexual feelings or something like that, from what I gather. At least that's the last time I read the definition. Dude. So aspace-sexual. Fuck off. Dude. It's over. Every single person she's friends with is suspicious as hell because of that. Who the hell would befriend someone knowing they have a fetish that involves children to some degree? Yeah, no, why would they be friends with someone that's like into lolicon and shit like that, looks at people friends with fuchsia butters? Yeah, no, it's kind of odd. Isn't it weird? Should we just use ace instead? Yes, spell it like that. Yes. Spell it like that. For me, I do this stuff by myself, but if someone offers, I go fuck off. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, that's fair. Half of us queers don't even care to label our shit, Lamau. Well, because if you try labeling everything, you can't, because I already understand, right? You can't necessarily blanket statement a concept. Like, everyone has their own, like, different feelings and, like, their own different individualities. And it's like, individuality, I think, would, like, be the most important part about, like, you know, a spectrum like that. And if you try to put a blanket statement, even on, like, a small group of people, they're all going to feel slightly different. So it's going to be, like, even if, like, there's a general understanding of something, everyone's going to be a little bit different. Like, that is an understanding I can get. It's like, no two people are the same. That's a concept I understand. So it's like, when you try to say, like, someone is, like, you know, a label, someone may share some traits of the label, but not fully, you know, be the same label because they were raised differently, they were born differently, they have different traits. It's like, yeah, so, yeah. Well, Ace being ace phobic on Pride Month, SMH. What the fuck? What the fuck? Evil. Evil. Fuck all of you. This is actually evil. Yeah, we're getting derailed. Yeah, let's go back into the, you know, child groomer defender. Yeah, I'm just anyways, fuck me.
I just wanted to keep it as, you know, SCC members, which we were not at the time.
Very fascinating. So when I audit this thing, am I going to find non-SCC members in there? Because I have a feeling I'm going to, but that's not even really the point here. My entry in there is irrelevant, frankly, so we're going to move on from it. More to the point is the amount of damage you have allowed to happen here. I have now seen unhinged comments from you, Yoon, Jace, and a whole slew of other people. Jace specifically, talking about how they want to give Rin a rope to hang themselves. Like, you created a monster here. At no point did you ever try to reel it in. We haven't even gotten to the not safe for work rooms yet. This is just the cursory stuff we found that's just, in general, morally reprehensible. There's people here who have questions for you. I am not going to let this devolve into a Senate call. People aren't going to threaten you here. They're not going to lose their minds. Their questions should be direct, and hopefully you will have answers for once. So, which one of you has decided to go first? Because according to the Google Doc, it's Amity.
That would be me.
Amity, all right, go ahead.
All right. I just have a few questions, and I want to start this off with the elephant in the room, and that is the treatment of Leo, pre and post coming out about George. So before I ask this question,
This is gonna be
Susie,
fun.
I would like to read a chat log I found that I was given between you and Poor Kate. So Poor Kate goes into your DMs. I heard you're in contact with the guy, and there were things that happened differently. And your response was, at the very least, the evidence showing us what happened kind of shows the opposite might have been true. For instance, Leo keeps telling us how uncomfortable he was within the DMs with George, but we don't really see that. In fact, what we do see is Leo playing along happily with the conversation. Whereas the V situation, as comparison, we see Joni was uncomfortable with V's sending of porn. Grooming kind of has a purpose of conditioning someone into being more okay with sexual discussions. But we don't really see that intent with George, at least according to Leo's document. And then later down, you say, George was guilty of being irresponsible with NSFW.
Yeah, Jace was 100% dating Doodletones. We actually like went over that in the beginning of like my very first Doodletones stream. Like, you know, well, not very first. Technically, I talked about Doodletones prior, but my first recent Doodletones stream, like the deep dive one. We watched a call that like Rin uploaded, and like Jace, that was revealed that they were dating. It wasn't really public knowledge the whole time because what was it? Doodletones was kind of like keeping that well secret, which I guess it's their choice that they both, you know, decide to keep that a secret. It's whatever. But it was definitely interesting. Like, it's interesting to look back at everything to know, you know, the context of like Doodletones and Jace being together, because it's like they're like partners in crime, you know, doing crimes. This is evil.
With his NSFW account. I won't say he's totally innocent regarding the claims, plus he has a tendency to self-destruct. But what we don't see through Leo's doc was grooming. Now, I'm reading all of this again. And it begs the question, what, in public, in the George video, your claim was that Vivian and I, who, for anyone who doesn't know, Vivian is Channel Grey, that Vivian and I had implanted the idea that Leo was being groomed by George into his head as some sort of smear campaign / a way to get George out of the community. But in private, you are spinning a completely different story, as if Leo basically had been leading George on, and then lied about him afterwards. And my question is, how did you even come to this conclusion, especially given at the time Leo was a minor? A minor cannot lead on an adult.
Well, no, I'm kidding. I'm
Wasn't
kidding.
intentionally trying to,
I'm playing.
say that Leo was leading George on. My point was trying to be that there was a miscommunication between the two. I do see where you get the idea though. And the idea that I had was just like from, as I said, from the evidence.
And your conclusion to all of it was to focus more so on the minor and how the minor could have handled it better and how the minor could have communicated better, rather than looking at the adult and wondering why is the adult even talking to a person like this, let alone a child in the first place. And that was enough for you to let a groomer back into the community, around people, around minors, and then eventually around to.
You know, it's actually insane to me that Doodletones will claim to have been groomed, but then like sweep for another groomer just because they were friends with them. Like, I know I kind of like touched on this before, especially with Ellie when it came to like, you know, the threats thing and saying something like really egregious like to someone else, right? And then they like did that to somebody else, right? Like, even despite, you know, that, it's crazy because that's a concept of someone went through, you know, this pain, right? And then like, you know, it's completely fine with it happening to somebody else. And it's like with Doodletones, right? Sure, they may have not groomed someone, right? But it's like, it's crazy to me that they will like say that they're a grooming victim and how horrible it was, right? But then be completely fine with these plethora of victims like being hurt and like, you know, genuinely affected and traumatized by this groomer, and only just sweeping for them just because they're friends. They were doing a lot of behind the scenes sweeping, defending George, and got their whole community to agree with them. That is genuinely insane to me. So it's like, fuck me. But yeah. Ace was led on by a minor? Whoa, hey buddy. Let's calm it down. Let's calm it down, buddy.
With other victims in Autumn and I.
I suppose so.
So then the other question with that is, why did you never reach out to Leo, Autumn, and Ryan? I don't want to hear about we didn't want anything to do with you. You could have reached out, even if not to us directly, through someone else that you knew had contact with us, or even just made some sort of statement about wanting to contact us.
Right?
Someone could have tried.
I don't think anyone had contact with you guys at the time.
Did you try, though? That's my question. Why didn't you try?
No. Why I didn't try is, I mean, because you guys had me blocked. I didn't figure there was point in trying.
Okay, I'm just gonna, I'll let someone else handle that because that's a whole other can of worms for your handling of victims. But
No,
I want to pivot, because another point of discussion that we have talked about in the courthouse since you left last week was the handling of the document about Rachel. And there is a point in the Rachel document. Yes, we have been looking back on that, and there is a point in the Rachel doc that we have wanted to talk about.
Cleared.
And it is your mentioning of Autumn's private, intimate life. And you know what I'm talking about. When this was brought up in the Cloud Palace, we have logs, and you say, well, Rachel talked about it with people. First of all, in private, it was never public. This discussion of what Rachel and Autumn did was never public until you made it public. And your excuse was, well, Rachel talked about it, so it's fair game.
Dead.
Why?
Well, I think that one kind of answers itself. I thought Rachel talked about it more publicly.
Nope, she never had. And even then, if she had talked about it publicly, it should have been shot down, but it wasn't talked about publicly. Rachel kept it within the circles, within Discord calls, and within chats, private chats. It'd be different if this was like in a public server. No, it was strictly to friends.
That's fair enough.
And again, you excuse this. You excuse it even after Autumn herself calls it out in her own document a year later. You excuse it with the fact that Rachel had spoken about it. Even after Autumn herself said she was not okay with this. You guys clowned her for this. Because given everything, like, as Shuli says in the chat, like, Autumn expressed distaste for it being out there, and you blamed Autumn for not making sure Rachel wasn't bragging about it.
Yeah.
Your point was, why hadn't Autumn said anything to Rachel about stopping it?
Dude, Doodletones is not really saying much. This is rough. I want to understand your mindset, you little psychopath. Alright? But you're not letting me.
I guess if I'm gonna end my part,
I
want to end
that was
it
a
with
sneeze
the
that
question
time.
relating to Autumn's situation.
Use your experience
I mean,
as a
honestly,
gotcha?
Autumn, are you
Dude.
okay with me just asking the question bluntly, mainly in regards to what Efron called it in the chat earlier? I want to make sure. Okay.
What the fuck?
Susie, you're aware that what Autumn was talking about and what Rachel was bragging to you about was sexual assault.
Oh my god.
Are you aware?
wasn't at the time. When you put it that way, though, I see it a little bit more. Yeah.
You see it a little bit more.
Autumn had talked about it before. Like Rachel basically gave it away on a silver platter, saying that Autumn decided to withdraw consent, but then Rachel wanted to keep going anyway. And then the act was made into a running joke with her, and then you publicized that account in the Rachel document.
Sorry.
Like, I mean, I guess I don't know what I would realistically want more. I mean, to be honest with you, it would be amazing if Doodletones just kind of sat there and was like, yeah, I mean, this was my exact mindset at the time. I can understand that it's wrong now, but like, here's exactly why I thought this way, which led me to the actions I did. Well, like, I guess the best we're gonna keep getting is just a little, sorry, didn't mean to, sorry. Like, the fuck. Also, what's up, Blake? But dude, this is evil.
Well, that's all you got is a sorry, so no real explanation. I will let someone else know what they want, but
I don't know what else there is for me to say.
Good explanation, you little bitch.
I mean, the explanation is.
It would be me.
And say your name for the record, please.
Hi, this is Lucifer. I'm
Lucifer?
actually here to ask questions on Donnie's behalf because
The
he's
devil?
currently taking a mental health break, and I'm doing this for him. This is going to be very brief.
Okay.
So, it's like 2 things. So, Susie, did you recognize how vulnerable Donnie was about Vivian after January 2020 when using her to convince him and others that
Thank you for the 2, Callu. Time for a new router, dude. You know, router is like a trigger word here, okay? Router, you see, especially 90s versions of them, it's kind of like, you know, it kind of brings back Vietnam flashbacks, Callu. You gotta be careful with that.
George wasn't a groomer?
Headshot! Oh, sorry, Russian.
Okay, sorry, guys.
No, you weren't cutting out. I didn't quite. I guess get what you were asking.
I didn't quite care.
This is just how he worded it. So, did you recognize how vulnerable Donnie was about Vivian after January 2020 when using her to convince, convince Donnie and others that Horace wasn't a groomer?
No.
Okay, that's your answer, but I really think you should have. I really think you should have.
Maybe I should have, but I didn't.
I don't even think it's a maybe, Susie.
That's a you should have.
That was, again, in a similar vein, like to an earlier thing, that was literally an assault that Vivian did to him.
I know that. I just didn't know that Donnie was like, you know. I didn't realize Donnie's feelings about it around the time. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, that's your answer. That's your answer.
Presses 2 pointer fingers nervously together. I'm really sorry, guys. I didn't mean to make the victims have to apologize for their experience. I just was besties with someone that groomed them, but I couldn't, you know, be too evil. Dead. Time for a new slime daily. Fuck you, Callu. Fuck you. Dude. You know, I actually am trying to, like, talk to... Not actually, I'm not gonna leak that. Not gonna leak that. But, you know what? New video coming soon is gonna be awesome, okay?
And this is one last thing, I suppose, out of this section. I'm going to be saying it as if I was, like he says I, but I'm basically just saying his message for him. I felt as if I had to brush off any feelings and concern about how he flirted with me as a 16 to 17-year-old, and this is in regards to your video defending Horace, and how he told me after I came out as trans that he would have asked me out if I didn't come out as trans, both because I didn't have
No, I forgot about that.
I know for a fact I played along.
I didn't know those. I didn't know about that.
I think that was
Of
literally
course
in the
you didn't,
document.
but at the same time, that's part of the impact, part of the damage that you caused with that defense video. That you caused through not actually looking, like, really thoroughly at the things. Because, like, even at a cursory glance, like, I had to do very...
You need some new mason jars while you're at it. Dude. No. Buddy. Okay, dude. Look, that guy... Actually, interesting thing I gotta tell you. Jar lied again to everybody. Okay? I learned something quite interesting. Jar has lied to us all. They actually have no Tower of Babel on us commentators. That was a myth. That was a lie. In fact, they were trying to simply impress someone. Who was that person, you may ask? Well, none other than Cinnabear03. Isn't that quite the interesting conundrum? So they only try to say that they had a Tower of Babel to seem cool, a little intimidating, but a little nonchalant and mysterious. They don't actually have one. They don't. It's insane. It's interesting to me. So, yeah, I don't care. I thought, I would have felt honored if I was in it, but now I'm kind of finding out that it's a myth. It's a lie. And I feel mogged. It's over. But anyways, let us continue into this beautiful call that you guys are all enjoying so much.
Very briefly, because I'm going to admit I am hitting your video. Even I could tell.
Fair enough.
That's all I have to say.
I'm saying fair enough.
Yeah, I know. That's all. I believe it's Habit who's supposed to go next.
Yes, hello, this is Habit. I do have some questions for you, Susie, and this may come out of the blue, because this is not related to a lot of the stuff that is currently being brought up, but this is my first question. When it came to your SEC's communication video, why did you constantly
How do I know this? Well, because I know people.
make points to downplay what RCV was doing to me, to a point of saying what RCV did to me was be an abusive boyfriend at best, which I'm quoting from your video.
Oh, mogged again.
I'm not exactly sure the best way to answer this, but what I have been made aware of by Julie these past few weeks is that I have a kind of a bad habit of choosing words improperly. Instead of just saying things as blunt as possible, I wind up putting flowery language on it, which winds up downplaying a lot of very dangerous and very vile things.
Yeah, I don't understand when you were talking about a situation where a man in his 20s was talking to me at 17 and guilting me for breaking up with him and saying, oh, at most this is abuse. That's... and I'm going to lead, and I'm going to use that to lead into my second question, which is, when it came to your SEC communication video, did you see any of the comments on said video that were basically harassing me and taking pot shots at me? And if so, why did you not do anything about said comments?
I don't think I saw any comments about... No, I don't think I saw
I'm going to say, Susie, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there were comments. There were comments that were actually...
I saw you heart them all.
I'm not saying that they weren't comments, I didn't see them. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll just move on. I'll just move on then, but... Okay, so, Susie, with all this context of your SEC communications video and how you handled it,
Another blank screen.
Why, when looking back at, I was going through things related to RCV, because I decided to go into a deeper dive to get more evidence on what was done, why was I finding screenshots of you antagonizing me and RCV with things related to us being in a relationship? And there was multiple times of you antagonizing me, and then in response going at RCV, who was trying to defend me, who is my groomer. I gotta ask, you were 19 at the time, if I'm getting the timeline correct here, and I was like around 15, 14. What did I, as a 15, 14-year-old, do to the point to get you, like, antagonizing me and in turn antagonizing my groomer?
You harass minors? No, I knew that. Doodle Tones is rough. How many times is this going to be used as an excuse? See, this is why, like, I know, like, we, like, pride ourselves and, like, really try to strive to talk to the people involved in the situations. But this is always the card they use. Literally every time, this is the card they use. It's like, anytime you ask them a question that's holding them critical and it makes them look bad if they give the honest answer, it's, I don't know. Man, I don't remember. It's lost to time. It's like, it's so unproductive every time. I mean, I guess you could still show it just to be like, oh yeah, they're not giving an answer just to show that you asked, and it is technically them not giving an answer is giving an answer within itself. But like, it just leads to speculation. It's annoying. It is so annoying. It feels pointless. It just genuinely almost feels pointless to even ask them anything if all they're going to be like is, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know. Like, explain why you did it, bro. Explain why. That's what we're here for. Like, clearly you had to know why, but you're just not. You don't. Like, you're acting like you don't. It's really infuriating. But you know what? Let us continue.
Okay, alright. I'm gonna say my next question, but I have a pretty good idea what the answer is, but... I know that a lot of my story related to RCV wasn't completely well known to everyone, but... Did anyone have any concerns related to the fact that almost 2 months after I turned 18, Rachel, who if I'm correct, was like 20 or in her 20s, immediately got with me as soon as I turned 18. Was there like no concerns or anything with that?
All there being no.
Okay. All right. So that's all my questions. If anyone else wants, I'll let whoever needs to go next go.
See, I wouldn't even want to talk to them.
Okay.
Nothing
I think
happens.
It's my turn. I'm sorry if I get like emotional. I've just been like, oh, okay. So, Susie,
Sorry, can you state your name real quick, Sparrow? Well, Sparrow, yeah.
but my name is Sparrow.
Logged?
Hi. So essentially, my first question is: you understood the way that my dealing with sexual harassment by Sherman severely negatively affected me to the point that you believed that it was why I initially basically left the internet. So why would you not do what I requested as the victim in that situation in an attempt to get closure on that?
Which was?
I asked you I think it was on almost 5 or 6 separate occasions if you would send that over to me, because it was an attempt for me to fully be able to understand and get closure on what happened. So
I think someone directly told me not to do it because it would have upset you or something.
You think someone?
I wasn't
Who?
intending to send it over.
Who?
I was told not to. I don't remember by who.
This is so infuriating. Nothing. Not productive.
Okay, I guess I'll just go into my second question. Why did you only choose to speak about what happened to me publicly under the circumstance that you made another video on Sherman despite knowing he was in active danger?
Don't think I have an answer for that.
Because I do remember you saying at one point that you would be bringing it up if you were to make another video. Yeah,
and
but
I do remember I wanted to make another video, but then I don't remember why I didn't.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay.
Interesting.
Another question.
That's all they're saying.
I'm gonna add to this question with your answer to the first question, okay? Why did you constantly bring up what he did to me that you knew was painful for me in a way that essentially rubbed it in my face without providing the proper tools for me to get closure for? Especially because you noted that somebody had told you not to because they thought it would make me upset. So I'm confused as to why you were even bringing it up at all.
You give me an example of me bringing it to you in a way that's rubbing in your face or something.
There were several times. I remember there was one distinct time where it came up that I had the ability to contact him, and
Oh yeah, and I was confused why you. Yeah, I was confused why you would.
Yes, but you brought up specifically that you were confused by that because of what he did to me, when.
Well, yeah,
already... But then this was something that got brought up more than once, almost every single time it would come up in conversation, there would be some sort of mention of it if I was there, and it got there was legitimately a point where just it was very distressing for me to talk about. But moving on, 'cause I don't. Okay, from my recollection, you claim to have filed a police report about Sherman using those logs. I do have 2 questions, which is if you actually did that.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Actually, I feel like my first question or my second question was already answered. But
what else you
suppose
do,
my last
little
question
ditty?
is just if you still have them, because if you do, I would like those to be sent to me or to somebody who can.
Yeah. I'll look for them while the rest of this call's going on. Because I don't really want to waste you guys' time any more than I guess I already am.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
I'm so sorry, guys, for what I did.
I mean, honestly, if you need to make sure that everyone else is heard, you can. I don't mind waiting. This is something I've waited a whole 5 years for, so a little bit more is not going to kill me. But I need you to understand, Susie. This is something that has deeply affected me. It deeply affected me the fact that I was very stressed over the fact that I could not remember any of this. Whenever it would come up in conversation, it would put me in such a deep state of distress. I just want you to understand how that has affected me and how you've in a way contributed to that. So I suppose that's it from me. I just want you to. That's all I ask of you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I will try to get you those logs.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I suppose that's it. So whoever's next can go.
Okay, hi. It's time for my questions. I'm Chewy. Everyone here knows that. I want to ask you, because this is a problem that I've brought up to you before, and I found more instances of it happening in the Cloud Palace. Why are you so quick to compare people to literal rapists and groomers? Because, like, you did that to Coda, and you even tried to pseudo-justify it to me in that call we had a month ago where I confronted you about that video.
That was a month ago?
And you've done it to others in the Cloud Palace.
At this point? Bro.
Just the it's the quick comparison.
That's your answer?
That's yeah. I mean, you want the truth, right?
No, Susie, I want to fucking lie. How much does rape?
You want the truth, right? No. I'd rather you lie, little bitch. Okay, I did. Yeah, it makes people with genuine memory issues look awful. Yeah, no, I know. It's kind of infuriating how many people, like, it can't be a coincidence, right? Isn't it always convenient that these people are going to be held accountable at the stake, and it's always like, I don't really remember why I did that. It's every time. Whenever they're in drama, it's interesting, isn't it? It's quite interesting, but whatever.
Matter to you that, like, you choose how annoying someone is in an argument, like, to be the basis on which you compare people? Like, does rape matter to you at all?
Okay.
It does.
Yeah, it does,
Then why were you so frivolous with that?
Just, I guess the first names that came to mind were two people who just so happened to be really bad about it. I don't know. It's the best answer I can give you is those were the first names that pop into mind.
All right, if it does matter to you, then why did you not think that Donnie being sexually assaulted was going to have him fucked up for a while?
No. I thought my timeline of events might be a little screwy right now. I thought the rape was like a year or two before the George Rickman video. My timeline might be a little screwy, but I thought there was some time before then and then.
That's really disgusting that you were just like, well, it's been a year. He's probably over it.
I'm probably not over it, but I wouldn't have expected it to. I don't know how these things work.
Clearly. Next.
I mean, I guess if it's like been a year or two, like obviously they're not going to be over it, but like they wouldn't be in the same vulnerability maybe. If like that's what they're trying to argue, but like it's still obviously that's just a weird thing to bring up against them if that's what they're doing. I don't know, because like if you're a victim of something, you're always going to remember it. It doesn't ever leave you. It's just you develop like a better way to handle it over time if you're like doing it right. But yeah, I don't know. It's rough. It's fucking rough. Doodle Tones is not a rape fan. Rape is bad. Boo. But no, I'm kidding.
Next question. Why did you use Joni's grooming situation with V Omega to invalidate what Leo went through with Horace?
Just another comparison that I could pull up.
Because do you realize that in your own overly rigid definition of what constitutes as grooming, you invalidated Joni's story as well?
Oh, actually, I don't realize that. Mind explaining?
Yeah, you said that grooming is about leading to a relationship, a sexual, romantic relationship with the victim, when V Omega was fucking married. And he wasn't looking to get into a relationship with Joni, but you set that up as a precedent for what constitutes grooming because you were just pulling anything out of your ass to invalidate Leo's story. And you ended up invalidating the case of, quote, actual grooming you used in that video.
Not surprised.
What'd you say you didn't pick up?
I just said, oh, I see.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't believe you. But do you still have the pillow fort?
No. Pillow fort is long gone.
Do you have any other servers that you used to own? But or I guess still own, but you used to be like the head of?
Not currently.
What did you do with them?
I mean, after losing the Cloud Palace, that was kind of the last one that I had. Around the time that the SDK stuff dropped, I deleted my servers.
You just chucked him out.
Yeah, at the time of the FCK stuff, I didn't figure I was ever gonna
V is married. Well, hopefully to an adult.
come back from that. So
Yeah, I know. Everyone was thinking it. Everyone was thinking it. Fuck y'all.
that's that.
So why did
Can't
you
be
archive
bad.
Cloud
Everyone
Palace?
was thinking about it. Everyone was thinking about it. Fuck all of you.
I
Fuck
kept
all
Cloud
of you.
Palace because a lot of memories in there. Whereas with some of these others, there weren't as many.
A lot of memories of doxing people and slandering.
I had told people that if I ever left the community, I would take the Cloud Palace with me.
Okay.
Okay. Did you export any of those servers before you just banished them? Because I know that you were exporting a lot of servers when you left.
I don't. None that would be necessarily important.
You're not really in a place to be deciding that right now, if I'm being completely honest.
I mean, you guys have any need for speedrun chats?
No, but you know that's not what I'm fucking talking about, Susie.
That's what I've got.
That's it? You didn't archive the Twitch server? You didn't archive anything else like that? Any community stuff with people, interpersonal things?
I mean, other people's chats I did, but not my own.
Interesting. So you archived everyone else's business, but not your own.
Yikes.
Because most of those chats were dead anyway.
That fucking means anything.
It does, or it did to me at the time, because at the time, like, those chats were long dead. None of them were really being used. I didn't see anything, worth it there. Meanwhile, stuff like Mally's chat or, Heaton's chat, those were places that I regularly hung out.
The logic just doesn't follow here, and I think it's because it's intended to be self-serving.
I mean, you can think what you want, but...
And I will.
Oh. Free thinker.
You are asking a question, and I am giving you an answer. And
yes, and I'm telling you how I feel about that answer, alright?
Okay.
And the last question I have for you, well, it's more of a request. I would like exports of your DMs with Avi and Heaton because I don't trust that I've seen everything about that. And I also want to know if I can have those exports from the Heaton chat, if you exported that, since you were exporting everyone else's stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure I have some Mary Skeleton lore.
Yes, I'd like that. Oh, yeah, and Yoon. I'd like your DMs with Yoon. I don't know if you still have him, because he deleted his account. So, just to write it down, I'd like you to write that down, Susie, so you don't forget.
There's a lot that I'm going to need to write down, actually.
Alright, well, I would like you to do that right now with what I've asked of you.
Ooh.
And I'll repeat it for you.
Yikes. Doodle Tones trying to warm it up. It ain't working.
Bobby DMs. And Mary Skeleton lore.
Mary Skeleton, correct. Alright, that's pretty much it with me. I think Hidden is next.
Hidden heroin?
Let's
hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the moment. My questions don't relate so much to everything, like, with the grooming stuff. It's mostly how the community has been run. My very first question is, with how stressful and unable to deal with things you are by your own admission, and how you don't want to be seen in charge by your own admission, why did you not straight up give the community to somebody else before the FCK stuff? You saw issues, you made a whole video about the issues, and when you did give it up, you gave it up to somebody like Jace, who not only has an incredibly awful track record, but was also unable to handle it.
Looking at it now, that is very interesting. That is very interesting that Doodle Tones gave up control of the community to Jace, their partner. Someone that they could just talk to and, run it with anyways. That's a very interesting thing that they did there. Very interesting tactic.
Well, as far as giving the chat to Jace, I have explained this before to other people. It was just kind of a... He volunteered at the right time. I was getting ready to leave everything.
Yeah, buddy?
He had said that he would be willing to take the courthouse. As for why I didn't, me not wanting to be in charge, I tried for years. And I really had. But everyone, but every now and then I would get called, like, the head of the SCC, or I'd get called, like, the big one, and it was just kind of inescapable.
Dude.
I didn't...
Dude, that ego, bro, that ego, it's like... People keep asking, man, why, I ace space, why I'm still doing this stuff. Like I said, I did not want to be in charge or the pillar of the community, but they keep asking. But, you people just keep calling me, the ACC, the A in ACC stands for ace. You guys keep calling me the art commentary crusader. Like, I can't give that up. Someone considered me like the Jesus Christ of the ACC, and I died for all your sins. Like, I can't just give that up. The leader of the ACC? I mean, I didn't give myself these names. You guys did. And I had to stand by it. So, you see, I didn't choose the ACC life. The ACC life chose me. The inner leader of myself came out and just had to follow a duty. So I'm sorry. I know what I said, but my instincts could not be ignored. It's so stupid, bro. It's so stupid. Fuck me.
To me, I just kind of wanted to do commentaries. I didn't, I didn't ask to be put in a leadership role.
I mean, my personal opinion on that is you could have said no. You quite literally could have just been like, I don't want to deal with y'all shit. Bye. So.
I mean, I still wanted to be around the community.
Well, that's fine.
After years of being called like the face of the community, I was just like, well, I mean, I'll try to.
Yeah, I mean, after years of just being known as the SCC, man, like I don't know, man, like it's just I had to take the mantle. What can I say? I mean, they when they say SCC, they think about me, okay? They think Doodle Tones when they say 3 letters. Isn't that crazy? SCC. You always bounce back to me. Diddy Tones. Like, fucking hell. Do you have any idea who you're talking to? Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. I'm forcing nature. Like, fuck off, dude.
Do something about it, and obviously I failed in that department too.
I mean, that kind of leads into my second question where, given you then sort of voluntarily accepted that position.
You mean SCC, A spaces, Doodle Tones would automatically correct you on. See, Doodle Tones gets the SCC. I get the ACC, okay? I'm just that guy. See, I just can't give this up because I do it for the people. I do it for the community. Because the community needs me. I can't. How do people take themselves seriously when they unironically go on monologues like that? I really can't. Dude, I mean, yeah, I'm in the community, sure. And I got a little bit of attention, sure, but like, you know how gay that would be? Like, if people actually thought that way? Like, they thought that they were the guy, like, the guy running everything. Like, that is so dumb. Nobody runs the ACC. Nobody runs the SCC. Alright, there's just very, very, very respectable figures or very, influential figures. I think that's a better word for it. Very influential figures with a bunch of impressionable people. It's just super stupid, dude. Fuck me, man. This community sucks. But I'm too fixated to it. I'm neurotypical, by the way, but I'm too hyper fixated on it. Australian Ace, you guys don't want that.
It comes with certain responsibilities. And my question is, why did you remain critical of the community, yet actively enabled the worst in it for your own gain? If you're happy to deliver a 4-hour video on how the community struggles and belittle people's experiences, why did you never think to challenge things or call out things when they were when that would have been necessary?
I mean, with the SCC's communication problem, I didn't really have too much time to follow up on that. Because that was around the time that the FCK stuff happened.
I mean, I guess, but at the same time, given you accepted that position of being the head of the community, kind of would have been your responsibility to call out things that went wrong, not in a video, but to people's faces. Yeah.
I understand, but again, around that time the FCK stuff happened, and then Lio was dealing with the Peaches
Oh, thanks for the raid, Chris and Ark. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy.
stuff, and then I helped him out for the months that lasted, and then I was asked to leave myself.
Dude, you narc people are gonna actually really hate me, dude, because after, my stream or whatever, I'm gonna be rating it to someone even better. Someone that, Chris and Ark loves. Oh, yeah, what's up, guys? What's up? We're just going over this Doodle Town shit. You guys are probably gonna break my stream, but you know what? I appreciate it, Chris. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Fuck. Thanks, Chris. Hi, Ace. This is my first time watching one of the live streams. Also, Chris says hi. Hi, Chris. Hey, buddy. Thanks, pal. I'm so mugged. Chris attack, dude. If this unironically breaks my router, I'm cooked. But thanks. The gestures appreciated.
Following a really bad video about the FCK.
I mean, fair.
I didn't have much time to follow up on that.
I mean, okay. Given your time in the community, which hasn't been short, how come you never reflected on your actions up until you were asked to leave the community, or up until now when you were actively like being confronted about them?
I've reflected on my actions
Leave the stream before you raid whoever that is. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that, Chris.
before.
Dude.
I guess they weren't the correct actions to reflect on.
Yeah, including what the important.
What's up, everybody?
Apparently, clearly. But I would do reflections often. Like I've made even videos reflecting back on how I, acted in commentary and such. So I mean, I think it's not fair to say that I never did.
Honeybee, don't bring up the fucking karaoke in front of him, dude. He'll laugh.
I just didn't reflect on the important stuff.
Right. I have another one where it's like, why did you you stepped back from the platform, right? But you clearly didn't step back from your influence, given how you still stayed around here, actively partook in calls, and even called people out. That doesn't really seem like giving up your platform. You just did it like you're no longer public. It's clear you wanted to keep your influence. Why?
That actually is, and I know you guys are not gonna like hearing me say this, but that is partly why.
Hey Ace, have you gone over that DeviantArt image from Doodle? Yeah, no, I have not. I've heard people talk about it, but if you want to send stuff over, I don't mind. Being serious with how people I hate don't get handouts. Wait, that means you don't hate me? Dude, this is awesome. This is awesome stuff. Good news. This is good news, Chris. We could BBs.
My fault. Because for
No, I'm just finishing up this call.
from May to, I want to say, September, I was gone from everything.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have any connection to this community at all. Then Heaton's video dropped. I did come back in here long enough to yell at Ephraim. That's from what I was hearing, this chat was being misused, and then I left again. And then thanks. I don't remember what was the second call. I remember coming in here, and it was around that time that Lio suggested that.
Oh, thank you, Oscar Morin, for the gift. Thanks for the membership. I appreciate it. A-Space, where is this call? This is on Lio's channel. This is the Susie Doodletones call. Have you not gone over this? This is that 5-hour video. I've had a stream going over it previously, but I'm going over the second half of it now. But yeah.
I start showing up more often because I was isolating myself, from everyone up to that point.
Yeah, chat is pointing out. Oh, go ahead.
And then I just, per request of Lio, I stopped isolating as often. And eventually just got comfortable back into the community where, I was just kind of chilling out. But no, when I initially left, I did isolate from everyone.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking it is because, regardless of whether or not you like that, you have a certain sway over people, given who you are. And you returning here and being a part of active calls where people are being confronted is platforming yourself again. And I understand that part of it might have been because Lio requested you to be here, or because other people requested you to be here. But regardless of that, probably not the greatest move. I'm not saying isolate yourself. Well, now I am, but that's because of different reasons. But at the time, I wouldn't have said isolate
that's
yourself.
Fair.
But
no, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then,
no, I agree. It probably wasn't the best move. That's just kind of what happened.
Yeah, and then I have to ask about the horror situation, because even if I give you the benefit of the doubt that in 2021 you were educated on the topic of grooming and went by a book definition, why did you not, as you were confronted with these things more often and confronted them yourself, at any point in time, look back on that, issue a correction, or straight up remove the video? Why did your defense of horrors extend up to 2024, even after you learned more and got a better grasp of what grooming can be? And this is a side note and a question.
They still defended them in 2024?
Horror's video? Was it Horror's own doc?
Fuck
or
me,
was
man.
it both docs, or what was the ground of that?
It was predominantly Leo's document. I didn't, I did have the initial doc against Vivian from back in 2016, but I didn't realize that I had that until very, very late into script writing, and I just didn't think to check that. Otherwise, it was a picture, a single picture that was on the NSFW Twitter.
Yeah, but that's still the first part of my question again is in 2020, sure, 2021, sorry. Even though you may have not understood grooming correctly, you've since learned very clearly.
Oh, you see, Lio is just building this so fast, you just can't perceive it, Chris. That's just what's happening.
Because you had to deal with these situations, and you were aware that you made a video about horrors, and you were still defending horrors. So I have to kind of question, how come you understand the thing better, but then look at an actual groomer and you're like, wait a damn minute, this bitch shouldn't be here.
I mean...
Actually, also, there's 143 of you guys. Like up, buddy. Subscribe if new. Like up and subscribe, guys. Fuck all you.
I hadn't watched the video in a while, so it was just, I guess, one of those things where I didn't really have to sit down to look at it correctly.
I suppose. And then my very last question is, and I need an honest answer here, is how far did your involvement in the FCK actually extend? What did you know? Who did you know? And why did you stay quiet about it? Because given your track record, right, I no longer believe that I wasn't involved, you know?
Well, I never said that I wasn't involved. I was there, and I definitely partook in, like, maybe a call or two. That maybe I definitely partook in a conversation or two that I was able to pull up from the logs that we found, where I was inappropriate. There was probably a call or two where I was inappropriate with someone in the room that wasn't supposed to be there. I was only in a few calls with Teddy after all. But otherwise, my stance on that still kind of remains. When I got into the chat, I only knew a handful of people. All of the people that I knew were adults. I was told at some point that Slimmers was no longer in.
I have to push back on this point. From what we know, Doodletones own kinks and likes Doodletones only engage in sexual portraying of kinks as per the damn definition of a kink. Yeah, no, yeah, I don't really buy the whole thing of like Doodletones believes that there's such things as non-sexual kinks. That just doesn't make any fucking sense. That really doesn't. That is like one of the craziest things I fucking heard. But yeah.
In the chat, and considering I never had any interactions with Slimmer, I just kind of figured that Slimmers wasn't in the chat, which has since been disproven. I have noticed someone had a screenshot where Slimmers like had a conversation 6 hours after I left a message. But other than that, no, what I said before is still remains true. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I didn't partake in some inappropriate inappropriate comments or throwing inappropriate memes around, but generally I was not really aware of what was going on at the time. I mean, you can believe that if you want. You can choose to not believe that if you want, but that is the truth, at least from my perspective.
From the for the record, I'm gonna say I don't believe it because I know there's been a chat that was specifically named Slimmers not safe for work art.
Yes.
So regardless of how active you were and regardless of how much you saw that, and that should have been indication enough to heavily side on the entire server.
It should have. It wasn't. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I wasn't negligent in that chat. I absolutely was.
No, you're just fucking lying. You literally were you commented under like we went over this during like the FCK shit. But yeah, not only were you in that chat, but like you literally had to have known that they were a minor. You commented on Ponder's video and like that they talk about them being a minor. You joined the server that literally was created the sole purpose to defend this minor. That person literally just had a birthday and it was mentioned near you, bro. Like fuck off. Genuinely fuck off. And they're 100% either lying or pretending to forget. Dude, I can't with this person, genuinely. Like, oh no, I'm just neglectful. I'm sorry. My fault. Yeah, Doodletones was in the comment sections of a Ponder video on Akuma. No way she didn't know. Exactly. She's just only just trying to, like, you know, fucking say this just to save herself. It's genuinely super fucking annoying. Convenient art amnesia, everybody. Fuck me.
It seems so, yeah, but those are basically all of my questions, so I'm gonna mute and let the next person go.
Oh, hi. Oh, hold on. I did kind of interject because B did have a question relevant to what was being discussed with Hidden, so if it's okay, I would just like for her to go first. It's only one question.
Okay. So I have a question regarding the Horus thing. I've been told that when initially asked about the Horus video, you brought me up saying that you ran the situation by me, but when I checked our DMs, what I found was you telling me that like you brought it up on a stream and you got backlash and asking for feedback. And I told you that you couldn't then, the issue was that you couldn't put the blame on the victim, only to find out that is what you ended up doing in the video, both in the final product 2 years later, but also behind the scenes leading up to the video's completion. So I want to know what about the agreement that the advice I gave you that it wasn't okay to put it on the victims changed between when we had that conversation and when the video was uploaded?
I don't know. We sat in a call together in like it was either Fiendish Tavern or Merry Skeleton War. You and I sat down in a call. You read both Leo's document and my script. You gave me the okay. I don't know what changed.
Yeah, Doodletones is probably just going to be gone for
I don't
good.
remember a call like that happening. Two, again,
There's no way they
you
come
argued
back.
When you first brought this up to me,
Like,
2
wherever they
years
go.
before the video was created, I told you that you couldn't put it on the victims, and then I hear that you're going around behind the scenes even before the video was made, forwarding this narrative where you are putting it on the victims. Why did that happen?
Scary.
As far as the final product goes, as I said, I didn't necessarily think of it as putting it on victims, which yes is incorrect, but follow along with me here. I didn't see it as putting it on the victims. I saw it as there was a miscommunication on both ends, and that's why it wasn't grooming. Obviously that is not correct. Obviously that is not, that is not good. That is not what happened, but that is what I saw it as. So to me, I didn't view it as putting it on the victims at the time. But again, we did sit down in a call. Because I remember you asked me questions about Leo's document as you were reading it.
Okay, if you say so.
See, I see, like, people keep saying that, right? Like, mind you, Ponder commented on the original video, right? What did Ponder say on the original video? Because, like, if they just said, like, hi or some bullshit like that, I'm not really going to care too much. Because it's like, I'm so used to, like, people just, like, in friend groups just commenting, like, a random comment in a friend's video, right? And then just not watching it. So it's like, unless they, like, acknowledge things in the video and was like, oh, this is a good video, I fully support everything you're saying here. Like, if it's something like that, obviously, then we should talk about it. But if it's really just something random like, Doodle Tones uploaded, wow! Then it's like, I don't really give a fuck. So it's like, I don't know, it's stupid. But, I don't know, like, if you guys even have that screenshot, I definitely would be interested to see it. But yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not sitting here trying to, I'm not making up a situation or anything. I tried to run the script by you because I did not really fully trust myself to do that video just on my own. I knew you knew more about the situation, or you knew more about these kinds of situations than I did.
Not 2 years removed from it at that point. Like,
well,
I don't know
general
all the individual people involved.
Well, you might not know the situation itself, but you do know enough about, like, grooming situations.
Yeah, I knew enough to tell you that you couldn't put it on the... sorry.
2 years beforehand. Yeah, I'm talking about the video, not the live stream.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry, I don't.
Okay. Well, let's remove the video then, because the thing that is bothering me specifically.
Something about people not being qualified to make claims or something. Kumu put it in one of his videos. I mean, fuck. If that's... Dude, what the hell? If you could actually find that timestamp in Akumu's video, I'll pull it up right now. I'm curious. Because that sounds like fucking crazy.
Outside of the time frame that it took for the video to come up, was that even outside of giving you that advice then, you were going around behind the scenes pushing that very narrative. And to people who, are looking in from the outside, it looks like you were cozying people up to the idea that this was the situation in order to make them more receptive to the video when it was completed. So again, I want to know why, if you admit, you don't know enough about these situations, that you came to me for advice, why then did you directly go against that advice in the years leading up to the final product?
I don't know. Maybe I saw what I was doing differently. I'm not sure how to answer that, really. I'm sure there was some justification in my mind for it, but that's really all I can say.
Julie, you wanted to clarify that she didn't even bring up George admitting to doing that stuff with Leo, Amity, and Autumn?
Yes, I did want to preface that in the video that
Oh, they're
Susie
actually going to
made,
press them on
she
this.
barely touched on the magic trick kink and Leo drawing a child doing it, and she kind of wrote it off as like a one-time thing, not including the fact that in that document it was also alleged by Amity and Autumn that George had done the same thing with them and in fact had to push them in order to allow him to draw them partaking in his kink. And this is something that George admitted to in his own document. And Susie so far has not made any claims about sharing that document with you, just Leo's and her script.
Yeah, it just seems like selective reporting, to be honest. I mean, that would look bad if they admitted to it, so we gotta ignore it. But it's like, they literally show DMs of them conceding and admitting to what they did. And, again, Doodle Tones says, I'm not satisfied with that. This is actually fucking insane. That people even let this video slide when they watched it. It's like, how do you have a video where in the beginning of the video, the guy's going yeah, I'm not defendable, I fucked up. I'm, really horrible. And then he's like, actually, I'm not really satisfied with that response. Sweeper mode activate? Dude. Fuck me.
You mean the document on Vivian?
No.
Oh, you actually did give me a timestamp. 2302 of Akumu's latest TISM report. Okay, this should be interesting. This should be quite the interesting feature. I'm wondering. Okay, yeah. Akumi just like comes up into my recommended sometimes. He's kind of.
I love the lack of self-awareness.
He's
The
evil
irony
like
here.
that. He's evil like that. Akumi is quite the evil fellow. Okay. Let's take a little gander, shall we? I think I'm pretty curious. You guys are curious. I'm curious. You know, I'm very curious. 2302 in this TISM report. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, because admittedly I didn't really watch the second half. Let's go here. Hold up. Yeah, I think I see it.
Ponder Sprocket made a
Hold on.
very interesting comment on it. It's almost like
a bunch of the people who throw out serious accusations aren't actually qualified to make these accusations. Then that's... Okay. That's not just a comment to just throw away, then. That means that she watched it. Genuinely, that means that she watched this, okay? And was okay with what she saw. Like, she's even, like, discrediting the people that, like, you know, are claiming to be victims of George Raccoon. The fuck? Like, okay. That's awesome. This is... Fuck me, man. Fuck my life. I should have done this on a different tab, but whatever. I'm sure we're good. We're good. We'll just go back and it'll just, like, timestamp. I know where we are.
Between when Vivian came out with Leo's doc and when...
I know where we are. We were at, like, 343. But fuck me, man. Fuck my life.
Was that even outside of giving you that advice then, you were going around behind the scenes pushing that very narrative. And to people who, like, you know, are looking in from the outside, it looks like you were cozying people up to the idea that this was the situation in order to make them more receptive to the video when it was completed. So again, I want to know
We're a little
why...
bit ahead.
Sent me June's thread that was also happening during the hashtag. My question is, was me coming to ask you guys why you guys hated Rin? Am I the person everybody refers to as one of Rin's friends who harassed them? Like harassing your group?
Maybe there was a few of those.
Do you remember who those people were?
No. I know some of them were like at least two of them were people who came after Yoon in a comment section, and I wound up explaining the situation from Yoon's side. Eventually, I think they wound up deleting their comments. But I do not remember the names of those individuals now.
Okay. And then, this is more of a side thing I was noticing. You said you felt pressured to be the figurehead of this community, but you did you ever make any attempts to deny or reject that label? Or instead, in what ways did you try to, like, separate yourself from the community, or try to, I don't know, hand it off or ignore what people were saying?
I did outright reject the notion that I was the head of the community, but I never really made the distinction that I wasn't a part of it. I was a part of it. I just didn't like being considered the figurehead of it.
Dead.
Okay. I guess that just answers the two questions I had. Have a day.
Okay.
It's always pouring. Oh, now is your time to speak.
Thank you. And yeah, as Julie said, it's always pouring out. And my question is, given how you have now had the opportunity to see how your actions, whether malicious or negligent, have hurt people, and how, whether intentional or not, your audience and platform has, like, played a part in that, like you leveraging it to hurt people. I understand that you currently have either locked or deleted a lot of your socials, but I want to know going forward how you're going to be approaching, like, being a public figure or being in, like, positions of power with your online, how you're going to go about.
Well, she's just going to quit, right? There's no one that's going to trust her
Well,
ever again, right?
If
I'm curious her answer,
to
though.
Be a public figure again. At this point, it's a really big if. But if I decide to, I mean, obviously, I definitely want to use what's here to kind of, you know, change from it. I want to make sure, though, I grow. So I'll talk to my therapist about a lot of this. I definitely will be more educated in, you know, what grooming is. I'll try to think more about the repercussions of my actions and, like, what kind of an impact it could have on others. I mean, that's really all I mean, I'm sure there's more, but, like, the big ones, I think those are probably, like, all that anyone could ask of me. Again, this is the big if I ever decide to be a public figure again. Although after hearing how much damage I caused, I frankly don't know if I even want to try that life again, to be honest.
Okay, I didn't want to, like, interrogate it. I simply just wanted to have your take on that out there. People can take whatever they will. That's all I need.
Realistically, even before Doodle Tones deleted their channel by quote unquote accident, right? There's no way they're coming back. Genuinely, there's just no way, because like they would the only community that they have any relevance in was like SCC and ArtCom, and it's like nobody likes them anymore, and they already tried giving them another chance with something that they literally with the FCK. But like FCK personally should have at least been like close to a final straw, if not a final straw. But this ended up being the final straw. No one's gonna like them in any other community, especially when they like read up of what they've done. No one's gonna want to associate with that. They're just a liability. There's no way that they'll come back, right? Like there's genuinely like no way they will. But yeah, I don't see them coming back at all. This is probably like genuinely like the end of Doodle Tones, to be honest.
Yeah, as I said, at this point I don't even think I deserve it, so probably won't have to worry about that. But yeah, that's there does need to be more growth here if I ever do decide to try to come back.
Sorry, one more question. What kind of things do you plan to do in order to take accountability and also make up for all the damage and harm you caused? Possibly either making a video confessing to stuff you messed up on.
Oh, they're not
correct the
doing
record
that.
on things you ended up being false
Fuck.
and
Sorry.
that caused harm to others. Like, what kind of things would you do in order to make up for the mistakes you've caused and the people you harmed?
I mean, it's a little hard to make a video correcting the record when I don't have a channel to do that on anymore, but, I mean, at the end of the day, what accountability looks like in this situation, I don't know if that's really up to me now, is it? That's not really
guess-
my say.
I know. I know it's not your say, and I don't want to say what the people you've harmed, what they should or shouldn't want. I guess what I want to know is, you've done wrong. What is your instinct to correct this? For example, you break a kid's glasses. The first instinct for some people, if they're genuinely sorry for doing that, is to pay to get a new pair of glasses for that person. So what?
I mean, yeah, no, obviously they're in need, right? They're always going to be terminally online, right? But it's like, realistically, no one's going to be, like, cool with Doodle Tones ever. Like, genuinely, no one will be, because everyone could just throw at them that they defended a child groomer out of personal biases, and that will just infinitely shoot their own foot every single time. Like, there's no one that wants to associate with that. So even if they try to come back, they're just going to be constantly like dogpiled every time they get into a beef with someone or just by existing. Like, dude, people literally start hounding on Doodle Tones when they like slightly exist on the internet. So it's like, I don't see them ever like genuinely being respected ever again or anything like that. And if they do come back, they're just going to get genuinely mogged. There's just no way. Like, there's genuinely no way. But we'll see.
What is your thoughts of what you would wish to do in order to make up for what you've done, and then also think about what people would want from you?
I mean, I'm already trying to get people what they want from me, but, basically these logs, these call archives, or whatever else I can get. I guess pretty much everyone at this point can agree, just for me to fuck off. Right?
That's what you want.
I think that's just kind of what people want of me.
True. I agree. The awkward silence. How'd they know? I don't want to agree with this
I
guy.
believe that Sparrow wanted to ask another question.
Uh-oh, Sparrow.
And then we will bring up the final question that everyone is bringing up in chat. Yes, I'm reading.
Okay.
Thank you. I suppose the one last thing I did want to say. This was more of a general problem, but I suppose while you're here, I can ask you about it. Like, why is it that in December, when people were talking about, like Liv and the ties that she had to Christian and shit, why did you, amongst so many other people, I'm not gonna bother with those other people right now, I'm just bothering with you, why did you feel comfortable letting that call get to a point where it was just another Subliby call, and what Christian had been doing was just swept under the rug and like completely pushed like to the side? Like, why were you comfortable with that? Christian is also Liquidus. He is a man that has groomed me and several other people.
Okay.
Yep, Liquid
I guess
is.
I just didn't think about it.
I still haven't gotten a chance to look into them.
So
I only just slightly heard them from
Just didn't
Sublibby.
cross my mind that, you know, it becoming a live call would have been an issue. I don't know.
So this is gonna be admittedly a bit more of a leading question. I just want a yes or no on this, because if the answer is no, I'll respect that the answer is no. But I do have to ask, was part of that based on like prioritizing your dislike of Liv over prioritizing the people who were victimized in that situation? Like, was it because you hated Liv so much that you just didn't care, or?
No, I just genuinely I just don't think I thought about it.
Okay, I just thought I would ask that. It's been weighing on me a lot, so thank you.
That's fine. And best I can do right now is you guys got questions, I'm here to answer them to the best of my abilities, at least.
Okay, I think
I know it has not been great. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
everyone's questions at this point have been answered. I do need to ask you this again because I asked you it earlier today and you did not give me an answer. Have you done everything possible to try and reinstate that channel?
No, I suppose I haven't.
Okay, if
At
anyone...
this point, I think at this point, I think it's all the same. It's probably better if it's not.
Okay, that's not your decision. If anyone here knows how to revive that channel, also, yeah, what the fuck was that? It's better if it's gone. Susie, we still need the comments from those videos. We need those videos back up so that we can actually get the comments that were...
No, you know, I think at the end of the day, guys, my channel really should not be looked at. Please don't look into it. Please, please, God, fucking truly, please don't look into it. Please, please, I beg you, bro. I found something really evil. Please don't look into it. Please, fucking. Of course, I don't want anyone looking into it because they probably have like worse stuff on it. They're definitely hiding something. Yeah, it's probably for the best. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You guys didn't get them when I had them unlisted?
You only unlisted one video, Susie. And you didn't give the link to anyone that day until you gave it to Lio.
No, you and Lio had asked me to unlist the George Raccoon video and the stream when I initially talked about it, and I unlisted both. You mean to tell me you guys didn't go through and get the comments on those?
Susie,
Like, genuinely, I'm asking.
we have gotten, I think, enough from those videos, but there are other videos that we wanted to look at as well.
Thank you, Oscar Moron, for the 2. My part for the goal. Thank you, GG, GG.
Which is why we had you handing over the channel. I thought that was pretty obvious.
I set up to do that, and I accidentally deleted it.
Yes, and now you need to work to get it revived instead of throwing your hands up in the air and saying, oh, well, it's better if it's gone anyways. No. Anyone in this
Maybe
chat,
it's for the
I'm sure
best.
There are people in this chat who know more ways to try and revive that channel. And this is an open invitation for any of you guys to tell Susie, give directions how to do that so that she can bring it back.
Dead.
Hi, yes. Would it be
I
alright
think
if I
the
asked
line
a
might come
question
up.
in the meantime?
Sure.
Okay. Because I remember trying to ask other people in regards to this, because this is a matter that does concern me to a degree.
Uh-oh.
Susie, have you already handed over the keys to Larvesta for the wiki?
I was trying to find a place to make him owner, but I wasn't able. Apparently, there doesn't appear to be a way of doing that. I did. He is a bureaucrat. He is a bureaucrat on the wiki, so he does have effectively all of the owner privileges. And then I basically stepped down, so I guess in a way, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Like, dude, I don't doubt it. I feel like there's definitely a handful of, like, you know, questions that weren't necessarily super important, but it's whatever. It's whatever.
Can I chime in on something for a second? Did you delete specifically your channel or the Google account?
It's just specifically my channel, the Google account
The
stay.
extortion moment's coming. Alright, everyone, brace yourselves for peak.
Okay. So, I don't know what the solution has been there from what's been mentioned. I am curious, how did you accidentally delete your YouTube channel?
So my Google account had 2 channels connected to it, and I was trying to delete one without realizing I was logged into the other. When you delete a channel, it asks you for an email, and if it's under the same Google account, then it's under the same email. So I put in the email and wound up deleting one over the other.
What's the other channel that was tied to your account?
The Suzy H channel, which also doesn't exist anymore.
And for your other channels, like the ones where you archived calls, is that held on a separate Google account?
Yeah, but those are also at this point not around.
Very
So
convenient.
Your other accounts for your other channels have been nuked.
See, like, obviously, this doesn't seem accidental at all. It seems very convenient that they just can't access any of their content anymore. Like, it goes from being an accident to, like, okay, dude, every channel, oh, whoops, see, I just really can't get into this, bro. Fuck off.
Or are they? Do you just not have access to them?
I was working on deleting the Twitch stream VOD channel before all of this. And eventually I do plan on taking down the Doodle Shows channel at some point too. Not like there's really anything on there for y'all here. But
What's the channel that you uploaded calls onto?
actually, just real quick, Mr. A, yeah, the channel with the calls is gone. However, I have told Lio, and that was kind of what I wanted to do this call, was during me trying to send Lio the calls that the calls that were on that account are have been sent to Lio, or are going to be sent to Lio, because I'm still working on the FCK calls. So we don't really need the channel.
And for those of you wondering what she means by that, are calls that happened during the FCK expose stuff. It's not calls that happened in the FCK.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't really need the account when I have basically sent everything that was on there to Lio, and I'm continuing to send more to Lio. So.
Unfortunate stuff.
Got it.
Does anybody else have any questions, or am I clear to go?
My advice is just, girl, contact YouTube support about it.
I do have a question.
And we'll see.
Uh-oh.
I do have a
Sure.
question. Sorry, I didn't know if I got picked up the first time. Discord's being weird. I'm gonna make this quick. Name for the record, David Grimm. You were asked by... Oh my god. You were asked to hand over the YouTube accounts, to Julie and Lio. You took your time on that, and then we find out, as of today,
Hi,
you
David
deleted
Groom.
your accounts. So not only did you fail to hand it over properly, you gave a bad explanation for it. But my question at this point, and I do not want to hear, I do not recall, or I don't know, because I'm not accepting that. You've done that throughout this call. Why? Why did you not just hand them it, and why did you delete the accounts?
I mean, admittedly, when it comes to the Doodle Tones account, to me it was not nearly just an account. That's like 14 years of my life on that thing. That's memories, but it's a story.
Okay, that's memories,
Does
bro.
not answer the question.
I know, I think it does. Of course I'm going to be hesitant about sending that off. Like,
Oh, wait. So you're hesitant of sending it off. So you admit that you're hesitant of sending it off. So would this hesitation of sending it off lead into you deleting it because you would not want anyone to see your 14 years of your life on your channel? I don't know. This is kind of interesting. Interesting stuff happening.
there's also, of course, there's the idea that there's private information, like personal private information on that I don't really feel comfortable giving out. And eventually, like, Lio in our DMs was kind of okay with me just giving the Doodle Tones account. Like, we talked about it. He's like, okay, I'll just take the one account then. And so I sat down, set up a second brand account. And again, I had everything ready to send him the keys. However, you do have to wait 7 days before you can move a brand account over to a different Google account. So I was just kind of waiting that off before I handed the keys to him, and that would have been yesterday, or not yesterday, tomorrow. That would have been tomorrow, because that was on Monday. But yesterday, I wound up accidentally deleting the channel.
Fine, I will just say one more thing for those who do not know. The way that YouTube deletes your account is you have to type in your password, you have to go through several warnings to say, are you sure you want to do this because it cannot be recovered, and then you have to click yes. What I'm getting at is, I don't buy that you deleted it accidentally.
Yeah, and you have every right to not believe it.
Here's a quick question. When you realized that your account was deleted by what you say is mistakenly, did you make any attempts to try to get it, or did you really think like, oh, I deleted it, I guess it's gone forever?
I went to tell him what I had done, and then Lio brought up a video to help me try to bring it back up. I tried to follow the video. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I wasn't seeing a lot of the stuff that they were saying that I should have seen, and that was about the extent of what I had been able to try.
Dude, does it have to take someone to hold your hand through a call to look at a fucking support video? to like show you like what to do, it's really not that mind-boggling. Just follow the video and just like go actually word for word with it. Like, you obviously didn't delete it by accident. It's very obvious. And you saying that you didn't really make much of an attempt, bro, like, come on. And also that comment earlier of, well, it's probably for the best that it's gone. Like, dude, you're not slick. You're not really slick at all.
Okay, so you followed one video, but didn't you see the importance of maybe doing your own research, going to different forums, YouTube searching an alternative method that was more recent year? I don't know how long ago that video was, but the YouTube system is always changing.
I had not really had the time.
You're a neat. What do you mean you don't have the time?
Okay, I mean, you've had the time. And I do want to ask, because we had a whole argument about this earlier, you saying that I was looking to try and get your social security, what was that all about?
You were asking for my private email.
No, I was asking for the Gmail account connected to the Doodle Tones channel, and I was telling you...
said email, and then I specified private email. You said you deserve nothing.
No,
I said on record.
I also have it on record since you left the fucking group chat,
Uh-oh.
Susie, if you want to play that
Uh-oh.
game.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm looking at it right now, and I say, Lio and I literally said we did not want that. We were not looking for your private information. I was also telling you repeatedly that we were looking for you to scrub your information from that email, move it over to a different one,
Trying to insinuate
transfer all
Chili's
the
a
personal stuff
doxer?
over to something
Yikes.
else. But I guess you're illiterate or something?
It's attached to my personal email.
Make a new one.
God.
No retort to that. Interesting.
I know there's nothing I can say that will convince you that this is fucking extortion.
Okay.
They said the thing. They said the thing at 420. By the way, that the coincidence, bro. 420 with the most golden part, dude. Fuck me. This is a fucking extortion. Yeah. Dude, evil, dude. Fucking hell, evil.
Okay, you're just being ridiculous. I'm not asking for any of your personal information, and I've made that extremely clear several times. You're just choosing to ignore it. That is on the record.
Cutting in here real quick, I want to make something clear. Neither Chuli or I were asking for her actual personal information. All we wanted was a channel and the data there.
Hold on. Lyle literally told you to scrub your personal details from it, and instead, all you did was delete the channel. I don't think you're even actually sorry, and I think you're fucking lying when you say it was by an accident. You've done nothing but be a nuisance in every turn and want to act like we are the unreasonable ones. We're all, when all you do is fuck up and refuse to listen. What I did with the channel was move it over to a new brand account, which you can do to pass the channel without giving the email. What about the G drive? I had that set up. I thought I had to wait a week before I could make the move official. At this point, I almost want to say fuck that noise too. Y'all wanted calls, I'm willing to give those. At this point, you guys are asking me to give you close to everything, including my goddamn social security. I ain't giving that. I've been willing to comply with everything, but you guys are pushing too far. Dead.
They're in. We feel this tirade claiming extortion is just Susie attempting to victimize herself. You can see what was requested in these DMs.
If I may bring something up, Susie, is it the Doodle Tones account that you use for things like therapy? For that email?
That one was attached to that email, yes.
Okay, so I think I understand a bit of the miscommunication there. Handing over the account, that's the one where Susie would communicate for things like medical issues.
No, I'm completely aware of that. My answer to that is change the fucking email that you go through all that stuff for.
But, like, you have your past email communication still saved into the inbox.
Okay, then just delete those emails.
You can make an alternate email and then pass the account onto that email so that it's detached from your personal information if Susie was really concerned about that.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to put the Doodle Tones account onto a different Google account that I was going to pass to Lio. That's what I was going to do, but you have to wait 7 days before you can make that a full transaction over. That's what I was trying to do. But when I asked for clarification, Shuli had just said that they wanted my email, which is
No, I asked why you didn't decide to just send the email over after scrubbing all your personal information. And you acted as though I was still asking for your personal information, when in the recorded call, Lio and I both directly say that we aren't looking for your personal information. We tell you, you can scrub that shit.
Fucking hell.
Channel, yeah? But not the email.
Oh, okay, you're just actually technically illiterate.
If I could offer a perspective, Susie, this is like an email that, like, a lot of your, like, you get emails from, like, everything that you are signed into, like, you have accounts on, right? Like, if you use Disney Plus, like, you get those. If you have, like, old accounts, you get those.
Yeah.
And how long have you had this email?
Since 2011.
Okay,
Since the
so-
channel was like actually probably further back than that.
So for clarification's
honest.
sake, that would be a lot of potential stuff to go over. Like, I know how much stuff is connected to my personal emails.
What?
That would be a lot of stuff to have to go over. And like, even outside of the accounts that are currently in use, the stuff that she's like currently getting emails for, if there are accounts that are just like not being used as frequently and she doesn't
What is
remember
this
them,
person asking?
she would inherently kind of lose access to those accounts if she didn't think to immediately switch them over. That would take time, and there would be like an inherent risk of her missing out on things and then missing out on potentially really important stuff. Like I've got like my insurance stuff attached to my email.
Okay.
If somebody asked me to go in and like give them my email and I didn't think to transfer that, that would be a big problem for me. Inherently, I could see that being a big problem.
My answer to that is that I have no sympathy for that because I actually just went ahead and created 2 new emails, personal and business, to update from the old personal and business that I had. And I spent days going through and
Yeah, word of advice, don't link your personal email to your channel. It just is only a hassle. But yeah.
changing all that stuff. And I didn't let a competitor back into a community with children in it while having access to a ton of data about that community. I simply have no sympathy. You're going to have to get it from someone else.
There is actually something else. Susie, you had a week.
Dude, you see, ponder gun carding. Dude, I don't even. You see, Ponder's giving me very mixed thoughts here because it's like Ponder didn't do these actions, but like, if we're gonna go to every right, if we're gonna go to look for every SCC member, right, that was knowledgeable about the George Raccoon stuff when it happened, why has there not been like a public, call like for Ponder like included in this? It's like it's weird to me, right? Like we're going to every other SCC member that had slight knowledge about it, but this person left a comment like even like agreeing that the victims were in the wrong or whatever, and like was on George Raccoon's side. I mean, they literally like framed the like victims as false accusers. I mean, why are they not being held to the same standards as all these other SCC members that are literally being held at like the stakes here? It's really odd to me. I don't want to say it's a double standard, but it's kind of bizarre, is it not? Like, I feel like that person, like, Ponder should definitely be held accountable for that too. Like that is a very, very weird thing to just gloss over. And I didn't know about that comment as well. That changes a lot of things about my perspective, and it makes me wonder if Ponder was not being fully honest as well, because like my understanding was Doodletones went to their DMs and Ponder didn't really have much time to watch it, and just whatever, just had it sent to their DMs and didn't interact with it much. But now it's making me wonder if with that comment, which clearly engaged with the video and framed the victims as false accusers and was siding with George Raccoon, it makes me wonder if they really did give the A-OK to Doodletones and now are just trying to deny it. Because like, what the fuck? I don't... It's very weird to me. It's very bizarre. And then it doesn't help their case that they are, like what you guys are saying, guarding for Doodletones in this call. Like, I don't know, they're raising a lot of questions for me right now. The questions I don't feel like I'm going to get the answers to. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
To transfer those emails over, so you could have looked through your email and...
I was trying to transfer the channel over because that's what Lyle and I had came down to an agreement on.
Susie, what I'm getting at, though, is that in that week before, while you had to wait, you could have made the transfer for your other accounts. Not your Google. Like, if you were attached to a certain website, you could have made that transfer or gone through your email to see what you need to switch over. That's what I'm saying.
Again, Lyle and I came to an agreement that it was just going to be the one channel, which is easy enough to do. I was able to switch it over since it was a brand account. I was able to
Yeah, Becky's been saying this for weeks, how Ponder doesn't want to be involved in this shit. See, that doesn't make sense to me, right? Because I've been saying this too, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I thought like they were going to be talked to, but I haven't seen anything publicly, personally. If there is, I would be more than interested to go over it. But like, even after going over the Maxim, right? We're also a part of like spreading misinformation that Akuma was a doxer when they were 16 and just slandered a kid. They were also like, told directly by Fagos that they sexually assaulted 2 women, and I don't know, like, made them quiet about it, and they did nothing about it. Like publicly, there was no public cutoff or anything. And then the third thing, right? What the fucking, like, they wanted a kid's parents' phone number that they were beefing with, which I don't really have much context for, but that was in the FCK Maxim as well. But it's like, despite the context, why are you trying to get a child's parents' phone number? Like, why do you need a dox from a kid? Doesn't make much sense. And now I'm seeing here that they've also are now, like, kind of like, not so. I feel like they're a bit more involved than what I was led on to believe with the whole George Raccoon shit. Like, it's genuinely, like, crazy to me. But yeah, Shirley and Ponder are friends, devil's advocate. We don't know if Ponder has talked to apologize to victims in private. Okay, but, like, I'm gonna be so real, right? As that is the case, right? If they're talked to in private, I mean, so is Doodle Tones, and, like, Shirley and Doodle Tones were both friends too, alright? And here they are being publicly held accountable for their actions. But when it comes to Ponder Sprocket, okay, asking for a kid's docs, slandering a kid, and defending George as well, why are they not being publicly held accountable? If we're gonna, like, hold other people accountable for, like, similar, if not the same actions, then why are we not holding Ponder accountable for that? Like, isn't... Like, yeah, I mean, I don't deny that there was probably, like, a private conversation, but if we're going to stay consistent with our standards here, right, Ponder would be in need of a public call-out. I'm not going to lie. Or, like, a check-in. I mean, I kind of want context for those questions. I think it's actually insane to recognize that they've done all this, and we're all just supposed to be cool with they don't want to be involved in commentary anymore, so there's no bother, like, there's no point in asking. Like, the fuck? So, what, you can just get away with, like, all your actions that you've done with, like, no answer for it, and we're all just supposed to be cool with that? Like, what the hell? It's genuinely insane to me. Like, I don't understand it. But yeah, it's... fuck me. But, yeah, people could call me uncharitable for a bitch asking why Ponder wasn't questioned about it and smug as fuck right now. No, it's just... it's insane. It's insane. First defense on Sprocket was before the CP leak, and Dolly a lot of is pretty dumb. Yeah, I mean, I saw that. Fuck me. I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to be good faith. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to be really good faith right now, right? But it's like, I haven't really seen her publicly answer for those. And keep in mind, she's she's obviously, like, one of those purity testing moral arbiters of justice that, always wrongs the, rights the wrongs in the community, right? Calls out things that need to be called out. If she lived by her standards, she would be taking accountability. She hasn't even taken accountability for taking down the Akumu video. In fact, what I'm getting from that as well, right? What I'm told from that, I don't even think the reason why she took down the Akumu video where she slandered a 16-year-old from being a doxer was because of that action. It's because Ponder, when they make a new commentary video, takes down an old one. So it has nothing to do with the taking accountability for, like, a fuck-up. Like, there's no community post to correct it or anything. There's just nothing. It's like, what the fuck is this? So that's what Frick meant when he said people sweat for them like crazy. No, it's like, I don't even know all the controversies with Ponder. Those are just FCK controversies and George Raccoon controversies. Like, that is genuinely insane to me. But whatever. Well, we'll just keep going.
Switch it over, or not necessarily switch it over, but, like, connect it to a second Google account that I was going to switch over when the week passes, because you have to have that thing set as a co-owner for a week. And that's how that works. I was literally trying to comply with giving the channel over. I was not willing to comply with giving my email.
If it was discussed between Julia and Lyle, I think it's best to let them speak on this matter, then I'm going to mute.
Okay. The thing is, even taking that into account, what sticks in my craw is this. There were some...
And I'm not to harp on this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to harp on this, right? But I don't really like the excuse of I don't want to be involved in commentary shit. Keep in mind, right? If Ponder Sprocket really did not want to be involved in commentary drama much, if you guys remember, right, when I went over a Jar call a while ago, actually Jar's response video at one point, right, where they had the whole maid dress point, Ponder was in my chat. Ponder sent Lyo, their side of the story so it could be, contested publicly. They could contest Jar's thing publicly. And they even, like, went into my DMs to clarify about it. And it's like, why is it that we're going to clarify about whether you had consent or not to put Jar in a maid outfit, but like all these other things, it's just radio silence for? It's like, it feels very selective to me. Like, for a personal opinion, it feels very selective to me when you want to be involved in responding to something or not. It's just really weird to me. But, yeah.
Several hours between you sending me the message about your account and me waking up and responding, and you sat here and told me you haven't even really looked into it. See, if I was on the receiving end, even not even. What do you mean you haven't had time, Susie? What time? You don't have a job. What is it that you've been doing?
I've been kind of taken out of the house for a lot of things. I've had to run errands or go to the store and stuff like that. I haven't really had the time. I'm sorry.
You haven't had 10 minutes?
Also, yeah, just to stay relevant with the call, too, I don't believe a NEET doesn't have 10 minutes to take care of something. Like, for 5 days, they have no job, they have no education, they can 100%, do whatever. But again, I'm not trying to, like, I'm gonna, like, not harp on the Ponder stuff too much, but if... Honestly, I am kind of curious with everything I know. I might try to interview Ponder about some of the stuff to ask him, but if they deny it, that is what it is, okay? But I doubt I'm gonna get a public call. But I am very intrigued to at least talk to Ponder or, whatever, directly. I do have their DM, but I don't have them added because they don't have me added or whatever. But if I need to talk to them, I'll try. So I'll try that. I'll just try that because I don't realistically see anyone else going to talk to them. I really don't, but I'll try. I'll see what's up. I'll be fair. I'll get their side of the story, right? I'll be civil, of course, right? Because, there might be some context that might help, me understand some things in certain situations, but I'm just kind of, as of right now, I'm just very confused why it's not being talked about really that much, but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Because it doesn't take long to look it up. Now, if you had tried and if you had tried and genuinely could not get it out, that's another matter altogether, but you didn't even try. That's what bothers me. If I were in your position, I'd be scrambling, frankly.
I think what Lio's getting at here is an underlying issue that we've kind of noticed looking into everything, and also with the Horus stuff, and also in this call, is that you have some kind of wildly fucked up priorities.
Yes, I do.
And
I'm not going to deny that.
You make a lot of assumptions off of stuff and run on those assumptions when you know you've been in several calls talking about how that's not the way to do things, yet you'll sit here and assume that the channel is better off deleted, so you're not going to do anything with it. Not bothering to run that by anyone.
I also find that it's very inconsistent to say that you kept certain things because of its memories. And you said you had 14 years of memories from that channel and that you felt bad about it being deleted, but yet still you didn't have any compulsion or urgency, or as Lio said, scrambling to try to get it back despite you trying to say that it was important.
Yeah, I will say there's definitely an inconsistency there. If they're saying like, oh, it's 14 years of memory, but they literally threw their hands in it, being like, it's probably for the best for it to be gone. Yeah, they're hiding something. They're definitely hiding something.
Into you.
May I add something here?
Yes, but let's not
sure,
belabor the
might as
point.
well.
We're getting long in the tooth on this specific topic, so please close it out.
I was just going to say, Susie, how come you have more emotion about an account being transferred rather than me asking a question to you about whether you knew someone was vulnerable after their assault? Nothing else.
You guys are really not letting me answer here.
Yeah, you guys need to let her answer, like dumping immediately. I've warned you guys before. We're not doing that here. Knock it off.
Anyway,
Fair enough.
as for the emotion, admittedly, it might be. Do I have the voice changer on? That might be it. Because I know a lot of people seem to think that I didn't show a lot of emotion in my videos up until I was at a breaking point. I was made aware of that. I think it was because of a Reddit post that I stumbled upon. The voice changer doesn't show emotion a lot, and I know it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I understand that, Felix. That's why I would offer it to them, like, in a private one-on-one call. Like, I would definitely record it, though, because it's like, it would be, like, her side on things. A live setting, obviously, I understand, is, like, a bit more intimidating for people. So, like, the way I would go about it would be in a private one-on-one call that's recorded, so that there's not as much, like, pressure on there.
But I have been sitting here, kind of shaking a lot, trying to, not, well up in tears. Because I know the minute I start welling up in tears, nothing is going to get answered. Nothing is going to get done. But I know sometimes the voice changer can kind of muddy that.
It's a non-point, because part of the issue is. Go ahead.
Susie, I've used the same one as you. And
I guess you're just more naturally emotive. But I have been shaking here trying not to break down. I don't know what you're trying to read into here, but I would appreciate it if you didn't.
uh-huh.
I'm not putting priorities over whether or not the channel is more important than people's assault here. That's not what I'm doing.
My apologies then. I just read as that.
It's over.
Alright, can we move on from this point, please?
Yes.
Because I'm going to segue into something tangential, but not about this, because I'm kind of tired of talking about the account and yada yada yada. I am still going to ask you to please actually look into seeing if you can recover the doggone thing, because frankly it's been 24 hours now. Anyway,
and I will see what I can do.
Anyway, we'll see. Anyways, there is unfortunately a larger problem with that. The other day we pulled Space Guru into a call because we did notice a very particular pattern that happened in your server specifically. I want you to tell me, before she was outed in 2023 as a groomer, what did Rachel Kohai get excluded from the group for? What did you excommunicate her over?
She chose to excommunicate herself.
Okay, why?
She didn't like.
What was you guys' main issue?
One, she didn't like Guru, so she left on that accord. And two, at the time, she was kind of dealing with her coming out, and I've not exactly been secretive about how not very supportive of that I was at the time.
Is my understanding that she also did a lot of backbiting behind the scenes. Is that accurate?
Yes, but at that point, we weren't excommunicating her. We didn't start excommunicating her until, again, she excommunicated herself.
Okay. Is the main conflict and the reason your two groups hated each other because of her trash talk behind the scenes and how she treated people verbally?
Yeah, a lot of people talked about how Rachel treated others behind the scenes, and it really kind of opened my eyes to how she had treated me over the years.
Okay. The problem here is that people from Rachel's camp had apparently come out previously about grooming or other forms of abuse, and they were disregarded because, well, they're annoying and they're part of Rachel's group. And one of the consistent patterns I've seen in your spaces is that you and people in there, in order of importance to your community and how you react to it, you rate people who are quote-unquote annoying higher than people who put children in active danger. Are you familiar with this? Are you aware of this pattern?
I can't say I was, but I'm willing to hear you out.
Well, we have the comparisons to child groomers and rapists that should never have happened in general. You can just say somebody's annoying without comparing them to monsters if they are not monsters themselves. We have the way that some of Rachel's previous members were treated, simply when they were around Rachel, because I will explain this to you very directly. If you treat people in a cult of personality like they're the enemy because they're in that cult inherently, you're never going to help them. You're never going to get them out of there. All you're going to do is further isolate them and pull them into the grips of whomever they are trying to essentially be around. And I've seen your community do that, and I've seen you head that as well.
Yes, I mean, I know I have probably, yes.
Okay.
Sit here and
Then I'm
deny
gonna move
it.
on to some
If
other.
you guys have evidence.
We have a lot of it, and it's very unsettling. I'm going to move into the next ones. Why did you not tell me about the crap that was happening in Cloud Palace and all the threads on different people there?
What do you mean?
Why did you never inform me about how Cloud Palace truly operates in terms of how it talks about people?
Because they were hiding it from you, Laya. Whole point of Cloak and Dagger.
Yes, I simply just didn't think about it.
No, you thought about it, Doodle. You thought about it.
I was much more worried about how the NSFW part of the server was treated, because that was like a much more immediate issue in my mind.
It certainly is an important one that we will be delving into, but your server is a nightmare from top to bottom. I'll just be blunt.
I understand.
I've seen less horrific statements in Vlad's server. Gilded Pooh server isn't as deranged as yours is. To be blunt.
That's fucking rough.
Okay, so moving on. Last year, you were fully informed as best as we could about what happened in the FCK. So why was Nezzy on your end not properly looked into early to mid last year? Why just mindlessly back them? Or mindlessly back them, I guess is the question.
You know the answer to that one, Lio?
I want it on record. That's why I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, the answer is, like, while we were in a call with Teddy and Nezzy, Teddy directly stated that Nezzy was more innocent in that chat than we all found out that he was.
Okay. Yeah?
Why is it when it came to the Heat and Truly thing, you never looked into any of it directly yourself? Because that happened well before, well, you left, honestly.
Admittedly, as I have also stated to Chuli, I just kind of figured Chuli never really liked me, so I just kind of kept my distance. And then I guess, you know, when you have, and then I guess when you have like Avi and Eaton and Yoon, I guess, in your ear telling you that Chuli is a, you know, a harder person to deal with, or you know, is a bad person, obviously you're gonna kind of grow more attached to that belief than otherwise. I don't know, does that make sense?
Here's the thing. Yes and no, but here's the problem. I had the same people in my ear. Because the thing is, it didn't require me to help Chuli in this. It just required one person with an ear and an eye to just look at this and realize how screwed up it was. And if Heat and American at all are in your group and they are being accused of something that horrific, you might want to look into it.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is gonna be, like, another thing, right? If we're gonna talk about, like, you know, guilt by association, right? Why are we, you know, why was, you know, it cool for Doodle Tones and Nezzy Monster or whatever to be cool, like, you know, June to be friends with Heat and Mitsuri, right? It's like, Heat and, like, was genuinely, like, a fucking monster to so many people, but especially Chuli. They're comparing, like, Chuli to, like, Fagos and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck is actually wrong with you? Like, that is actually mental. And, yeah, no, they were just objectively in the wrong. But it's like, I don't get, like, how a community that's, like, so tight-knitted with, like, guilt by association will just, like, be so hypocritical when it's convenient to them, so cool stuff happening.
I mean, sometimes you may not inherently have the time. It might take the back burner, I can understand that, but to just blindly and deftly not pay any heed to it, I do not understand that, especially when you had threads in your server actively going off about it. It's horrific what the people in your community have had to go through, and I'm sorry they had to deal with it. Now, I'll ask you another series of questions here. Just one moment, there's something I need to do first. There we go. Here's your chance to be honest, and I mean genuinely honest right now. You understand me?
Yep.
I've tried to be honest with you guys up to this point.
What all have you lied about when it comes to Akumu that he's come at you about?
Oh.
Because I already do know that for some reason, for a long time, you denied even being involved in the diaper fetish. I don't know why you lied about that. I'm not here to harp inherently on that. But if you're willing to lie about that, what else have you lied about in response to Akumu?
This is getting spicy.
I've never denied being involved in, like, diaper fetish stuff.
Dead.
I just say that I'm not sexually attracted to it.
Susie, your friends actively
I'm not-
defended you.
I never denied being into the diaper stuff. I just denied, you know, being attracted to... Bro, you know, do you know what being into, like, you know, the diaper stuff would even imply or mean? That is denying sexual attraction to it. Like, you know, what the fuck? That's the same thing. That is the same thing. Dude. Whatever.
About how you are not inherently involved in the diaper fetish. Yes, you did.
I've never stated otherwise, I don't think. If I have,
Then why
I've
did you
probably
maybe-
gone back on it.
Then why are your friends in previous videos talking about how they don't know if you did?
I don't know, but I've been pretty open about my, you know, relationship with fetishism and stuff, even as far back as the Medicare video. Hell, before the Medicare video. I don't understand that. But as for what I have gone on record against Akumu of, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things in the FCK video that we wound up realizing were not true, or that just weren't true to begin with. There was a point. This wasn't exactly intentional, and I was in the comment section at the time, coming to the realization that that was what happened. Oh, there was a point in time in the video where I had put a Kumu screenshot of me coming back to a roleplay, and I said that I couldn't find the evidence myself of where that was. It turns out I just overlooked the read more button, so I guess that could be considered a lie. let's see. There was the point where I tried to say that Akumu didn't go to Teddy about their situation. That apparently wasn't true. I'm sure there's more that I'm missing.
No, I know about like the diaper stuff.
Those are the only ones that are coming to
Very
mind, but
well
I'm sure there's
common
more.
knowledge.
Very well. There's not too much I can press you on there because it's not like I have data in front of me. Small Bean, were you going to ask him a question? I don't know if you got the chance to.
Yes, hello. That's me. I'm Small Bean. Sorry, I had this written down. Give me just a moment. So I wasn't in any of the other calls. This is the only call I've been in. So forgive me if this was something that was touched on previously. I'm just curious, I guess. As you stated pretty far back in the call now, you've been, and this has been pretty public, you've introspected a lot about your actions and place in the community in the past, while all of this stuff in Cloud Palace was happening behind the scenes. So my question is what was highlighting the issues you chose to highlight publicly in the apology videos, while doing what you were doing behind the scenes, like a deliberate obfuscation or an attempt to represent yourself differently publicly than you did behind the scenes?
I just have skewed priorities. I was introspecting on the wrong things. It's really what it comes down to.
And then was there a conscious decision made to present yourself differently in your videos than you did in your own server?
That one I will say, yeah, there was a bit of a conscious effort for it. Because as I said, I know that I'm very like quick to anger. I don't really have the patience of a saint that some people have said that I do.
Just got here where you miss everything,
so I do try
bro.
to, I try not to show that side too often in videos. But so there definitely was a conscious effort for it. Oh, did I cut out? Oh.
You're able to
not
be
cut
heard.
out on our end.
Lio, you're being abducted by aliens. Mute, please.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so there was a thing for that. Same goes for like the cruelty side of things. In 2017, 2018, I was a lot more cruel in my content, and I didn't really gel with it. But I guess, you know, that didn't change how I was behind the scenes, so. But yes, there was a conscious effort to you know, be less destructive in my videos.
All right, that was my only question. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to try to wind some of this down because we've been here for over 2 hours now. I think everybody else has gotten whatever questions that are actual importance out of the way for the most part.
This
I
is
just
true.
want to tack on one more name to the list of exports that I'm requesting. I also was reminded of Nezzy.
Nezzy? Okay.
Prepare to see a lot of crying, and that's about it.
So
Anyways.
just
You'll be linked to Google Doc for the request made of you if you're worried about rattling something off right now.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. You have the thing hidden for that. She's the one keeping track of it, thankfully. Okay, so
You see, I wasn't really thinking about like no, of course like the gameplay's gonna like lag or the video's gonna lag, guys. It's because he's too fast. He's too bad. He's too fast. But yeah, no. I am just gonna like try to thug it through this call because there's like 15 minutes left. I gotta be able to. Come on, come on. I didn't expect this to only take like 2 streams though. But we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
there's nothing about this that I enjoy, to be honest with you, because I was hoping that somebody within my circles who made it very clear that they wanted to help hold people accountable and do good within this community would be consistent. And so far, the people who have done it actively, not just been support behind the scenes, but done it actively, I have yet to find one person that was reliable. And you're just the latest one.
Yikes.
I do not know.
Sorry.
What freaking demon is infesting this community to make this all so doggone worthless, but I'm very genuinely frustrated by all of this. Because what really irks me is the entire time I was helping you clean up your community, you knew that video was sitting on your doggone channel.
Didn't realize that it had the problems it did.
Susie, you spent 2 years convincing your community that he's not a groomer. 2 years.
Fucking hell.
That would be like me magically forgetting what Peaches put me through. I'm sorry, but no.
Okay. That's fair.
Fucking hell.
This all combined with the horrific things we have seen just from a cursory glance, it hasn't even been dug into. This is a cursory glance of what's in your server. I don't know how this community got as rotten and vile as it did. But I want to be clear to everybody else in here. I've said this before, I'll say it again. This is your community's one chance of a come to Jesus moment. If you guys do not shape up, I'm going to nuke every person in this community if I need to. Because here's the thing, I'm going to go ahead and put this out here. Donnie's on that list too. Because they've said some screwy things in that server too. And I'm not to accept any, well, he has trauma for this one. That excuse is done and over with. Dusted. And I don't care how many of you that pisses off. Feel free to come at me whenever
You know what, Ant? Fuck you, man.
I'm tired of this.
Fuck you.
I'm genuinely tired of all of you here who are adults, who in that server or in this community, winking and just being fine with these types of horrific actions and treating people who are quote-unquote annoying literally worse than predators have been treated in this community. Now, I've calmed down quite a bit in the past while. I'm on some decent medication. You guys are about to have me wilding out if this keeps up. And I don't want to have to be in that position again. Don't force me to be.
Fucking hell.
Susie, I hope you get that channel back and running. And I hope you're able to get people what they need here. I'm going to ask you for a specific export as well. I'm not going to sit here and harp on you too hard as long as you give me the stuff that's been needed so far. I am furious, despite my very calm tone currently, because I've had an entire week to temper it.
My internet will never
This
die.
has been asinine, this has been thoughtless, and it has been cruel. This community cannot go on about how much it values people and cares about...
No, this is goated. I took a little bit break from the video, right? Please continue to screw up for my entertainment. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, buddy. Fuck you. Alright, pal. Alright. I also want to look at something, too. Maybe my computer will be a little bit easier on this one. If it decides to pull it up, you know, ever. But, we'll see. Beat me to it. Yeah, get mogged. Get mogged. I want to, like, look at this, because, like, this kept getting referenced. So, I'm going to take a little peek-see. Okay. I'm going to take a little look-see, if you will. If it loads. Lion needs to old yeller ponder next. I don't know. It's kind of evil. Okay. I don't know who this is, but I heard this being talked about, right? This is quite the evil conundrum. Okay. But you know what? We'll get into it. I noticed that people talk about, let's see, Doodle Tones diaper shit. They hone too much on the and gloss over the fact she created a 6-year-old fetish. Fuck me. Character at 18 years old. And yeah, this is that character, Mika. I don't even know where to start with this. Hey, this is genuinely just fucked up. My stream frozen? Hold on. Something too. Oh, no, it's not. It's just delay. But yeah, no, anyways. Fuck me, dude. Fuck me. Looks like Susie's character for sure. First off, let me start by saying I love seeing how many people draw Mika Tan, mainly because she's a character very different from any of the other characters in comparison to the most of the other stories, yada yada yada. Mika doesn't have boobies. She's physically 6. Will always be physically 6. Okay, lovely. Mika was designed as a fetish RP character. Bro, what is this, bro? This is actually evil. It's not even all I could put down in the trivia section, but yeah, I enjoyed that info. MA stuff about Mika. Dude, this is fucked. Genuinely. What is this? Her small stature allows her to maneuver quickly. She's not very strong physically. She can hear thoughts, however, she only understands Japanese. However, she could translate English thoughts to Japanese, but only thoughts. She could look cute to make her opponents feel guilty about hitting her. Will carry around a taser to crowded areas. Is very distracted by boobies. Okay, cool. And penises, just saying. Can make clothing girly, frilly, and pink. Wets herself in her sleep. Afraid of the dark. Knows cheerleading maneuvers and ballet. Though she wants to know, she wants no one to know she does give her sugar, and her mind will temporarily regress to 6 years old. What the fuck, dude? If only Lio got a therapist before getting on Doodles. Dude, imagine if Lio and, like, you know, all the friend group knew about this. It's like, what the fuck? But yeah. Yeah. George record situation abundantly clear that I don't doubt for a second there was insanely damning shit on the now deleted YT channel. Fuck me, dude. hell. Yeah, no, that is disgusting. That is actually disgusting. Honestly, I don't even know how the fuck that slid under, people's noses, but here we are, I guess. Fuck me.
Victims and does this. At this point, the only survivors of that doggone cloak and dagger call are essentially Ellie and I. Every other person who tried to wave a moral flag in that has either been dusted as worse or as bad as the people they took.
Have you seen Susie's SoundCloud? That can't be real. That can't be real.
I understand some forms of venting, to a point. But there is some genuinely deranged things in that server. And if we had found it in anybody else's server, Susie, you and others would have wanted these people hung by their toes and hit with sticks until candy came out of them like a piñata. I do not know how you could, oops, I forgot all of this. I'm sorry, I don't. You guys, despite being, 50 people at any given time in that server, you guys just would not shut up. I do not buy the idea.
Yeah.
How could you not know it was that bad? I just don't get it.
Fuck me, man.
Perhaps delusion? Perhaps I'm just numb to it. I don't know.
I'm numb to it.
Realistically, this community has been this way for a while, so it could just all have been very normalized to me.
I can't buy that.
That's fair. I'm bringing it up as a...
I'm telling you why I can't buy it. Okay. Because you always remember your pain. You always remember when people have wronged you. You'll always remember the Nekokodas and the V-Omegas and the F-ROMs that were annoying to you. That was your main concern with them, is that they were annoying and obnoxious. I'm not saying that to rope in F-ROM with a... I'm saying that if it's always your doggone focus. You'll remember that. You won't see how your actions affect other people. It's something children learn.
It's merely bringing it up as a suggestion. I don't really know why my priorities are as screwed as they are. I've
seen delusion. This is not delusion. This is willful. This is malice. You guys acted like absolute monsters because you didn't think you'd get caught.
Yeah, I'm glad Doodletones
That's
is
what
gone.
that was. And I will not accept anything short of that because that is not what reality is leading me to. I'm sorry, but it's not.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That is a good answer.
What you need to do is you need to get your GED and you need to get a job. Not come back online and get a community or whatever this other nonsense is. I don't even know why somebody asked you, frankly, what going forward your platform's going to be, because who cares? You shouldn't have one at this point. And here's my problem. I have sat here and I have defended you on some things. I have given you a lot of grace, a lot of room, much to the chagrin of many, many other people. Much to the chagrin of many other people. But now I have you treating Lin and other children absolutely horrendously. Then I have you magically not remembering the FCK stuff. Then I have you defending George. This is too much of, I don't know, and I forgot. I don't buy it. Because you can remember commentaries from almost a decade ago and members from it, but you can't remember that you...
Doodles rapped about being sent to dude. That's not real. There's no way that's real. There's no way. Dude, there's no shot that is real. There is no shot. What the fuck? No. No. You're fucking with me. Okay. You guys are fucking with me. That's not real. You guys, you got me good. You got me good.
Spent 2 years getting your community to warrant somebody who's accused of grooming. It was factual, by the way. I don't understand you.
I literally said like a week ago that I played defense for George. Like I don't know where this is coming. This idea. I don't know where this idea.
My point isn't that you forgot. My point isn't that you forgot that you played defense. My point is that you magically between 2021 and last Sunday forgot that you did that.
I didn't.
My point. It wasn't. Then you knew it while you were helping me. Actually, more so, I was helping you root these other freaks out. You didn't forget. You remembered it.
Oh, you're talking about like what's in. Okay, you're gonna have to run this by me again. I think I've gotten my wires crossed. Like over the course of the week, I have said. Over the course of the week, I earlier said, like when all of this came out, that I ran for defense for George because I thought he was innocent. And you're saying
this
that
music's
I
so
forgot
evil, by the way.
or
I'm saying
like I'm genuinely not understanding.
I'm saying at no point in the back of your mind for almost 3 years I was helping you in this community, you at no point remembered or brought up this nonsense.
Oh,
That's what you've been trying to sell me on.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just alright, dude. They're just agreeing with
I
like
thought you were talking about within the week. My bad.
evil. What the fuck?
I'm not trying to be obtuse about it. I'm genuinely sorry. I misunderstood.
Well, you're not trying. You're succeeding. But it's whatever. Again, this is going to be the last big call wherever you have with yourself. At this point, there's no point in correcting it. But you've had years. The sad thing is, Susie, if you had come to me or anybody about this 2-3 years ago and gotten it properly sorted, recognized the screw up you did, maybe we'd be in a different position here, but we're not.
Fucking hell.
And one thing is you're really lucky about is that this is happening now and not 2 years ago. Because it actually would have been awful for you. This is probably the most calm call I've had about something this absolutely awful. Because unfortunately, the problem is so big, I have to do what a teacher does, and I have to curve grading for the entire doggone class. This community has treated grooming like it's a freaking joke. What the pain and suffering children went through, and turned into a punchline, or some easy way to needle somebody who's just annoying. Got plenty of people who've been annoying in my life. I never felt the need to go down to a horrible level compared to the child predators, because somehow I just forgot they were child predators because I just remember them as being annoying. I don't understand this. Like, what's it going to take for you and a lot of other people in this room to actually grow up? Because this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Bad memory.
Be the one coming in here and fixing all this, frankly. I don't think there's anything else we need to cover.
Oh, there's only 4 minutes left, guys. I'm surprised I powered through the rest of this. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm genuinely shocked. Least amount of derails to ever exist on a stream.
A lot of grace. More than a lot of other people would in general. And your response to that was to squander it in the most foolish of ways possible. Because before all this, I was hoping maybe you could come back and just do things you enjoy doing. Maybe not be the figurehead of the community, but just talk about your goofy little things, because, you know, whatever. Even the people who you had wronged just wanted you to spend some time offline. It had been over a year at this point. They didn't even say for you to forsake being around your friends. They just said, don't be on your platforms. Reasonable. So I was hoping you'd be able to come back, frankly, because I figured maybe you find some fulfillment. And you have taken any of that and you dashed it aside. And the sad thing is you did it years ago and I didn't even know. And now I feel like I have to babysit every single human being around me, because clearly if I don't, they do the dumbest of possible things. And then, oops, forget that they did it.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Sorry to have wasted your time.
God, that is so anticlimactic. Sorry for being a waste of space and wasting time.
Here that I'm not remembering, because it is getting late in the day. Okay.
Okay.
We'll get the list of requests.
Oh no, it's crashing on me. Oh.
I'm still in contact, and I will be until everything's handed over.
Dude, why is it like actually mogging me right now? Is it that bad? Dude.
Properly.
You have like a minute left, dog. Don't be gay. Don't be gay. Ugh, whatever. I think we're good here. If it lets me out, the fuck? Holy shit, okay. Yeah, that had like a schizo moment for a second. Lol. Actually, let's try finishing it.
Alright. You're dismissed, Susie.
Once he does his outro, I don't really care to see it.
After this call, everyone was given what they requested. I even passed Leo's reaction to Susie's apology directly to...
Feedback from Leo. This is incredible, truly. I don't know if I'll ever forgive her, but I feel so much safer after reading this. I'm so grateful, I really am. Thank you for the bottom of my heart. Thank you for finally listening to me. I'm free. And then Susie left the group. Yikes.
To Susie. She chose to leave without a word acknowledging it. I honestly can't express how disgusting it is to find out that someone who claimed to care about victims, who helped run awful people out, was doing all of this. It's clear to me why I wasn't ever brought to Cloud Palace. The culture there would have been lit on fire if I was. If you're wondering why I'm not going into great detail, that's because Shuli's working on a longer edited video that'll go into said detail. I'm just the forerunner in this to get the calls out. I will ask the audience to control their baser instincts and not run to random videos Susie was in to comment. Let her former friends have some time to digest this and for the info to spread. Personally, I'm tired. I guess I figured the people beside me who claim to have similar values to me would have that internal consistency, that they genuinely did these things out of a sense of responsibility. But apparently not. I'll survive, though, and so will the other people in this. I am sad, though, with the realization that I now ran off, or helped run off, two people met her and couldn't. I'm not sure how to feel about that. But I appreciate Shuli's candor and fire and willingness to edit these calls so I can upload them. I've got more work to do, so I'll get back to it now. Please give your support to the victims who were forced into silence for so long. Links to one of their videos is in the description. Take care.
Okay, yeah, that's it. We did it! We did it, guys. We have officially done it. We have finished the Doodle Tones lore as of now. Okay. Genuinely insane. Fuck me, dude. Holy shit. But, you know, while I'm talking and yapping, I want to, like, redirect this to Ant. But, fuck, dude. Holy hell. I'm kind of, yeah, but hey, you did it. You survived the Susie calls. Yeah, no, genuinely. I'm kind of surprised, that, fucking hell, that I was able to get through the rest of it. We're gonna, like, yeah, go into Ant. Evil guy. But yeah, no, gist of it, very fucking insane and insufferable, but you know what? You know what? We'll all go out for pizza now. Yeah, for real. We're done with child grooming. We're done. We're we're living it up. No, but honestly, I feel like, yeah, I don't know what more to say on Susie. I think right now, I think it's safe to say I could take a break because I need to cover some more Saber stuff, and the Louis Starbun stuff that's in development seems very intriguing that I just want to go over when that's all out. But as for any more Doodle Tones updates, the only thing that's going to ever be covered after this is like if there's genuinely other cases that are egregious, or something that's guaranteed will be like the Cloud Palace logs. But other than that, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I get that. But yeah, no, that's pretty much the gist of it. Your internet celebrating Pride Month, buddy. Yeah, yeah, buddy. Nah, but anyways, right. Oh, fuck. But yeah, no, I'm glad Doodle Tones is gone. Like I said in previous streams, it had to be from within the friend group for them to actually be exiled. Otherwise, yeah, nothing would have came from that. But fuck me, man. I'm just so out of it, bro. Cloud Palace will definitely be interesting to go through. I hear Akuma's making a video, and Chuli's video will definitely be something I go through. But other than that, I've been sent things that Doodle Tones has allegedly done. I'm gonna just review it to see if it's worth doing a whole stream on. But right now, you pretty much are all caught up with all the basics on Susie. I'm gonna try to focus on other topics because apparently I saw a little bit of Beckett's video. Emmy Emu lied about, like, you know, the stuff with Saber and has been extremely dishonest, so I want to be able to watch that video. And fuck, dude, I'm thinking about watching Toastify's Birdie video. I think that'd be interesting, but like other than that, yeah. Fucking hell, I'm so mentally cooked right now and checked out. So it's been fun. I appreciate fucking, yeah. Don't worry, there's always more. Oh yeah, trust me. I'm trying to go